Welcome to the Never Throw in the Towel podcast. This episode is sponsored by Test Me. We are thrilled and really proud to be sponsored by Test Me because they are an organisation that share our values and mission around improving men's physical and mental well-being. Test Me Health focuses on the important link around gut health and well-being, which is so important because it's gaining knowledge around food that impacts the gut in a negative way, which can be a game changer because we are gaining knowledge and education around nutrition and diet, ultimately resulting in a much better and safer lifestyle. I just want to say a huge thank you to Test Me for backing and supporting the Never Throw in the Towel podcast, which is stories around resilience and adversity in hope to help and inspire, and trying to change the culture around men talking with the message that talking is a strength, not a weakness. Please like and subscribe to the channel because more likes, more subscriptions, and the more this channel grows, ultimately, this will help more people. Enjoy the show. Never Throw in the Towel. Welcome to the Never Throw in the Towel podcast. So I already know that this podcast is absolutely going to be fire. This guest is a keynote speaker, coach, author, and an all-round huge ball of energy. This is Paul Mort.
Man, I feel like I should be saying, I'll read, because that's your thing, innit?
Well,
do you still do that?
You know what,
I'll
I don't. And you know what is, I always say, if it was now, that would have went mental. It would have been.
Does that feel like a lifetime ago for you? Does that feel like a different life?
It completely does.
Does it?
It's two answers really. One, yes, it does.
Yeah.
But secondly, it's still always followed me.
Yeah, of course.
Like recently, I'd done it was GB News. They'd sent me a message, said, like, we've seen all of the good stuff you're doing around mental health and stuff. We'd like to get you on. So I'm thinking, serious interview. Mm-hmm. First question, so did you have sex in the jacuzzi?
Wow.
Honestly, I will get that till the day I die on the deathbed. So did you?
Yeah. I'm not going to ask him. Listen, it's none of my business if you're shagging and if you're not being shagging. How was this turned into me interviewing you, by the way?
Well, I mean...
It's a conversation, isn't it?
That's all it is.
The mad thing is, because I get thinking about these things all the time, if it was now, it'd be even madder.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't even have internet back then. Dial-up.
I mean, I've always been a caveman, so even if we did, I certainly wasn't
now it would be
aware
mental
of it.
because you'd have...
Yeah.
Imagine how viral them kind of clips would go, man. Fuck.
Aye, yeah. You know what, though? Sometimes I get asked about that, but, you know, I wouldn't change anything because you just don't know how things... I think there's obviously huge positives in terms of you can obviously prolong a reality TV career now. But
I mean, I've got friends that have never been on reality TV for years. The Geordie Shore guys have never been on reality TV for years, and they're still known for it.
You can do it now.
Aye. You got Aaron Chalmers, me mate. He's fighting Floyd Mayweather. If he hadn't been on Geordie Shore and didn't have his big profile, there's no way he's fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Mad.
So I came across here and like there was people just random saying you need to get Paul Mort on your podcast.
Shit, that's cool.
So I started looking at you, following all your stuff, and I'll be honest, I think I'm in love.
Mate, you're only human. You're only human.
But, I must say though, I've been genuinely like over the moon to sit down and
mate. I appreciate
get a conversation.
Well, the feeling's mutual, my friend.
Because everything...
I think I copied a haircut and a goatee off you at some point.
Everything that you say though is just, for me, just absolutely on point.
Yeah.
On point. And
do you know why that is, Anth? Because there's a difference between someone talking about it and someone who's been in the trenches, who's been there. And this is why... Have you seen my Cliff video before?
I have.
That's what started me on this journey. I posted a video about how I was feeling. No intention of doing what I'm doing now. I had a successful business then.
Right.
And I posted that video, and the reason I didn't expect what would happen. It's had 15 million views, man, which is wild. I didn't expect what would happen to happen. In fact, I was scared about what would happen with this video because I was like, I'm talking about hard shit. I'm talking about deep shit. I'm talking about getting on the packet. I'm talking about booze and porn, wanking, all that kind of shit, right? And I was like, I'd actually sat on that video for 18 months.
Really?
18, because I was scared. I was like, what if my dad sees it? Do you know what I mean? What's my dad going to say about that?
Right.
What if he stops me pocket money? Do you know what I mean? Like, all this mad stuff started happening. And I think the reason...
was that the first
time I'd talked about mental health ever
way.
on the internet. And back then, I had a successful supplement company, and I was teaching personal trainers, people like James Smith, how to build a business. Long time ago, this. And I'd been at the end of making videos, like marketing videos, and I said to me camera guy, I said, mate, set the camera up there, right next to the cliffs in South Shields, where I was ready to jump. And we'll set this video up, and I just spoke from the heart. I just I shot from the hip, if you like. I said some things, no rehearsal, I just said some stuff, and I knew it was good because the guy was crying. I was like, shit. And then we dropped the video 18 months later, and I get a lot of shit on it, like people, idiots on the internet telling me I should have jumped in that, which is wild. Should have jumped, should have killed yourself, all that kind of shit. But then it resonated with so many people, like blokes. And I think it's because I was able to describe the way it feels, being there, going through, because it's not a short journey, that it's a long thing.
Yeah.
It's a long build-up. It's a big build-up of loads of stuff. And I described it in a way that no one else had described before. And back then, no one was posting about how they were feeling on the internet. I dropped it maybe 2016. A long time ago, that.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no one was really opening up about it. And I posted it, and like you say, I was able to describe it in the way that I'd experienced, but then people were like, shit, that's how I feel. That's what I've gone through. That's how I'm behaving.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about talking about it. Because the talking about it thing's a bit contentious for me. But and then I've been on a bunch of different people's podcasts, and they're all like, why do you think your message resonates with people? I'm like, because it's practical. Yeah. It's simple. Yeah. It's again spoken in a way of someone that's experienced it, not someone that's read about it. Yeah, yeah. Because I remember back in the day, Anthony, and you maybe had this as well, where I'd go and see all these type of ists, counsellors, therapists, psychologists, psychotherapists, fucking hypnotists, all of that. And I could tell quite quickly, and this is when I was at rock bottom, man. And I could look in someone's eyes and be like, you're not getting this. Aye. Because you're reading from a textbook, you're writing fucking notes down. Also, what the fuck are you writing? I was like, what's he writing about me? Do you know what I mean? And like, they'd have us keep mood diaries to remind me of shit I felt. And I felt like they didn't get it. Yeah. Well, you know what? Like I touched on this. So I went and seen a professional once about the alcohol and the drug habit and stuff. For ages, I was questioning, should I go and see someone? Yes. Anyway, I did. And I'll be honest, the biggest takeaway that I took was, he hasn't got a magic wand. Yeah. There's only really going to be he's one not going to save me. Yes. There's only going to be really one person that gets me out of it. And it's you. Me. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. And that's a big realization. Yeah. That was a big realization I had. I was like, no one's coming to save me. And because I'd seen everyone, I'd kind of blame them. I'd be like, it's so shit. They didn't change anything. They didn't get it. Yeah. And then I think at some point I was like, well, if I'm, there's a guy called Joe Dispenza who've done a lot of work with the last few minutes, a bit hippie-ish, a bit quantum physics and that, right? Right. And he says, there's just a question that he asks, do you believe that you are the creator of your life? I'm like, well, I do believe that. Which means that I created that whole situation. I didn't end up on the cliff by accident. I didn't catch depression. It's not contagious. I believe that I created that through my habits, through my habitual thoughts, through not necessarily who I was hanging out with, but who I'd talk to, who I'd spend time with, what I'd watch on the internet, all that shit just created these feelings that I wasn't good enough. My self-worth was rock bottom, and I didn't have a sense of purpose. And to make me feel better, I was drinking and sniffing. And that's makes you feel better for a few hours. Then the next day, it's known. And I only found this out this year, right? You might have seen the video. I did a reaction video. I've seen it. On the 7 times more likely to act on your thoughts. I love that talk. It blew my head off. Yeah. It blew my fucking head off. Yeah, and I was like, same here. This is what needs to be said. Not try talking. Yeah. Men aren't depressed because they have a talking deficiency. Yeah. And I think it can help. It can be the starting point. It can be good to get something off your chest. But that's just a fucking start, man. Yeah. You can keep talking about the same thing over and over again. Yeah. Action, isn't it? Action's the only answer. Yeah. Like, action's the only way out. You've got to change. I remember, mate, I seen a show, must have been about 4 or 5 years ago. It was Harry Redknapp, Paul Merson, Ray Parler, people like that. Guys that had struggled post-career with drink, booze, coke, gambling, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And they did all this therapy and they felt great. And then they went out on the sesh. And I was like, dude, You've just done the opposite of what you said you were going to do.
Aye.
And then I'm like, someone needs to talk about that. And it's funny enough, whenever I do, I get a bit of grief for it because people don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Which I find weird. It's because it's so accepted.
Well, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because like that TEDx talk that you've mentioned, I watched that, and that's probably right up there with one of the TEDx talks
Powerful,
where
man.
I'm just like, wow,
It's a fucking wake up call.
So much, but there's still with the alcohol in the cocaine and the sniff and all that. There's still that huge stigma about like you're preaching.
Yeah, I was just about, you know what? I feel like every time I say something like that, I feel like I've got to explain myself. I'm not anti-booze.
Yeah.
I'm anti-booze for me.
Yeah.
I'm anti-booze for me. Uncle Booze, you could call me as well. But I'm like, I get that people are different and not everyone's ready to hear that. No. So you resonated with that talk and I did because I was ready to hear it.
Yeah.
And not everyone's ready to hear it. Some people go through their entire life drinking and never suffer with their mental health.
Yeah.
But some people are wired differently and they will.
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking to. I was talking to a lad yesterday, and we touched on alcohol, and I basically said, look, I'm not saying don't drink.
Yeah.
If you actually enjoy your drink and you have loads of fun doing that, then absolutely crack on. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is, if you're struggling with your mental health, I would absolutely, for a time period,
100%.
stay off the drink.
100%. And mate, the thing is, when I stopped drinking, so I looked this morning because I knew one happened 3 years. I think something like 1,500 days. I'm getting close to that thing. I got a reminder this morning saying you're 17 days away from 1,500 days, something like that.
Right, okay.
And the thing is, mate, and I get a lot of shit.
Alcohol, yeah.
Booze-free, booze and coke-free.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So over 3 years. And it's mad because when I decided to do a year, so my first commitment was a year, fuck, I'm going to do a year. My wife was like, well, even my wife said, well, why are you doing that? You hardly drink. I was drinking maybe 6 times a year. So I work in these. Okay. I get a lot of fire and energy and inspiration and excitement from working, doing what I call 90-day sprints, quarters. So I'm like, what can I achieve in the next 90 days?
Right, okay.
And then I kind of celebrate at the end of 90 days because I didn't know how else you celebrate. So even loads of people are like, well, Paul, you hardly ever drink.
Aye.
And I was like, do you know why I want to do it? Because even when I do drink, I'm losing 2 weeks. I know what it's like now because people don't know what it's like to feel 100% anymore.
Yeah.
From the moment you're 18, 19, especially when you get into 30, you forget what 100% feels like.
Yeah.
So I'd be like 70, I'd be 50% for the week after.
Especially when you're a bit older as well.
Exactly. 70% for the week after that. And I was like, well, this is slowing me down.
Yeah.
So when I did it, she was like, why are you doing it? I was like, just to see if I can. Just to see if I can. I'd actually said it before, but didn't tell anyone. I'd written it down. What's my goal for the year? I'm not going to drink this year. I lasted until I went to a Sunderland away game, Sheffield United away, and I was on the booze in the packet within fucking 2 hours. This is a month after I'd said I was going to go a year. Right. But then the moment I told everybody, I told anybody, I was like, I consider myself a man of my word now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I wasn't. But being reliable became something that's important to me. So as soon as I said it, it's because I care about what people think. People think I don't care what people think. I'm like, I do. Yeah. But just not people that don't matter to me.
Yeah.
Just not people who I wouldn't take advice from. So I do care what people think, and you're supposed to.
Yeah.
So the moment I said that, I changed it. And mate, the belief that I got when I hit that year, I actually bought booze for the day that I finished. Yeah. I bought it. I was like, I'm going to celebrate. Yeah. Well, I'd been at Wembley and seen my team win for the first time in six attempts. And I've seen Sunderland win at Wembley, and I didn't drink. My kids were there, which was helpful because my kids will call me out. My son especially hates drinking. He's 14 because we go to so many away games where we see blokes making tits of themselves. We go to so much UFC, boxing, bare knuckle. We're always at those things. Yeah. And he sees men just acting like fucking idiots. Yeah. So he would be on me if I had a drink. But that night, I didn't drink, and I was like, I'm not going to bother. It was like 2 days before Christmas. I didn't want to be hungover on Christmas Eve. Aye. And then, but the self-belief that I got from it, I was like, well, if I can do that, what else can I fucking do with my life?
Aye. Well, I don't know whether I don't know whether I want to like completely stay off the drink. I'm
the same. I don't know whether I'll drink again.
Yeah, but I don't particularly like it.
Nah.
So I don't really do it. But
you're not that arsed.
No. So me and my missus, she's we can go to a restaurant and we don't care about
restaurants hate me because they make most of their money on booze.
Yeah.
So we'll go to some Michelin star place, right? And they won't make much money on the food, but they make all the money on booze.
Aye.
Do you not want to drink? Do you not want to drink? And some places get offended when you don't want to drink.
Yeah.
Like you'll go to somewhere like, it's like an all-inclusive holiday. Like, you don't want to drink? I'm like, no. You don't drink? What? British people on holiday? I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah. But it's...
did you have a break from it though? Did you take like a strategic break?
I did.
So you had a period of feeling what it feels like to not.
I mean, like I literally, I'll go like you. I'll drink maybe. I mean, last year maybe 3 or 4 occasions.
Yeah, like party, birthdays and that.
Yeah, and stuff like
Christmas
that.
maybe.
But there was one time where, I'm not. I mean, I don't have. Firstly, you're a massive ball of energy. Have you?
Oh, thank you, sir.
In terms of, and there's a reason why I'm asking this.
Yeah.
ADHD.
Yeah. ADHD is fuck.
Yeah. Shock. No, but so I've not been diagnosed, and I definitely think I've got it.
Yes.
I recently seen something about. It was a doctor talking about people who've got ADHD should like really, ideally avoid alcohol
because we're
it's literally like pouring gas on fire.
We seek out buzz. That's what we seek out all the time. And my interesting journey with ADHD started actually in 2012. I was diagnosed, right?
Oh, right, okay.
We did the meds. I hated them. And then I started really struggling with mental health after that.
Right, okay.
And then it became important, actually. So the ADHD, we trialed some stuff. I didn't enjoy it. And then the doctors, because I was living in Marbella at the time, it became important to keep me alive then, because that's when I started getting suicidal thoughts. This is when I started having these ideologies about jumping off cliffs and fucking taking overdoses and that. So it became more important to keep me alive. So then we got medicated for bipolar disorder. Then we got off them in 2018. And then I was actually in Ibiza last year. I was speaking at an event in Ibiza. Fucking first world problem, isn't it? And there was a doctor there, and I said, Doctor, I've known him for a long time, Dr. Mike. He's got quite a big Instagram following. I said, Doctor, listen. I said, you know I've been diagnosed bipolar, but I don't take the meds anymore. Does that mean I'm bipolar? He's like, no. He said, I think you're misdiagnosed. He said, you've 100% got ADHD. Because the problem with ADHD is you have this high energy, and then you'll often crash. That doesn't really happen to me anymore because I've just figured out how to manage my energy.
Yeah.
Stopping drinking was one of the big things.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with me is that ball of energy. Why, for me, it's a huge gain. I mean, look, you literally light up, especially with that fucking jacket. You light up. You can tell you light up a room.
Oh, I do. I like being the centre of attention.
Yeah, but that's a great thing. So, and there's so many actually
and there's
advantages.
Downsides as well. Though,
yeah,
but that's all the people focus on. I love that you're doing it,
mate. The hyper focus that I've got, all of the success that I've ever had in my life, is definitely come from that hyper focus.
I agree. And focusing,
so it's just managing it.
Having the ability, Anth, right? And I heard a few things in the last couple of years. 2020, I went on a course with this guy, Dr. John DeMartini. He's doctor in 9 different things. He's a 9 times doctorate, which is fucking wild. Wow. This guy's a genius, right?
Yeah.
And I remember talking to him specifically, and a lot of people were cotton on to the fact that I had this different energy, right? Different. That's what I call different energy.
Yeah.
Dr. John was like, Paul, have you been diagnosed with ADHD? And I was like, kind of have, but it's got forgotten about.
Yeah.
I never really talked about it. I just got on with it and accepted that this is me personality.
Yeah.
And he said to me, do you also have this, because you think about it, the attention deficit's like a lack. You're in minus. He said the opposite of he's big on opposites. He's big on everything's an opposite. Everything's subject to the law of polarity, bipolar, right?
Right.
And he said to me, do you also have, the opposite of a deficit is a surplus, which means too much. He said, do you have areas of your life where you have surplus attention? Like you have things that you love reading about. You can recall random facts about. You've got loads of fucking, like you're a full stato on it.
Yeah.
You talk about without even being invited to talk about it. You can spend time in it without needing incentivizer. You don't need discipline for it. He was like, what's that? I said, football. 100%.
Yeah.
Football. Spend all my money on football.
Yeah.
A lot of my wife is a saint. She lets us watch. I watched 8 hours of football on Sunday. Obviously, I watch fucking Newcastle win, which is a nightmare for someone like me, right? But I watch, and I go all over watching football. I talk about there's lads who are coach who are from a town. Let's just say I've got a guy from Lincoln, and I'll start talking about Lincoln City, and he'll go, Paul, I'm not interested in football. And every time I see him, I'm like, oh, Lincoln City, you're doing well. You seen that new? He's like, Paul, I've told you, I'm not interested in football. I'm like, but I am.
Right,
and that was one of the things. And then jiu-jitsu will be the same thing. Certain elements of business, human behavior, I'm fucking obsessed with.
Yeah.
But then put me in front of numbers, which is bad as a business owner.
Yeah. Wow.
Put me in front of numbers.
You're bad with numbers.
Mate, it's mad. So my wife basically runs my business, right?
Really?
She's a boss, right? I'm like a fucking dancing bear. I'm like the fucking clown that comes out, right? She's the boss.
It's so
and
made
she
up.
loves that shit, right? She hates doing what I do. She hates it.
Yeah.
She gets so nervous for me being on stage. She comes to almost every gig because she's scared in case I say something. Right,
okay.
And I told the joke on Friday. Mate, I'm so bad. I'll see her at the back and she'll be going like that. She'll be going like that. She's like, don't say that. But she also makes me rehearse, which is actually why I get invited back, because I rehearse and I know it fucking word for word. But she rehearses because that's how she gets control. But she'll be doing something where she'll be training the team. We've got a pretty big team now. We'll be on a Zoom or we'll be in the HQ. She'll be training the team on numbers. And you'll see me, I'll see myself on a video and I'll be fucking shifting in the seat. I'll be fucking yawning. I'll be fucking... Because that just doesn't interest me.
Totally, that's me.
Blows me head off. Not everything, and there's certain subjects where I'm just like... And there's a guy called Kerwin Ray, died this year, crazy, like 50. The Australian Tony Robbins, incredible. And he had ADHD, bad. Also dyslexic. And he'd say shit like, ADHD is a hypersensitivity to boredom. I'm like, shit, that is so true. And then he'd go... You don't have a problem with attention. You have a problem with focusing on things that you have no interest in.
Yeah.
You have a real problem with it.
That's just totally me.
And a lot of people don't like hearing that because the ADHD is a fucking disability.
Yeah, yeah.
This is, again, another breakthrough. Dr. John DeMartini, there's no cure for ADHD. Do you know why? It's not an illness.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane to me. It's not an illness. So medication, great for some people, amazing. But it's a tool. I've just figured out over the years, by mistake, tools that work for me. And one of them is not forcing myself to do things, to pay attention to things, to study things, to read things that I have no interest in. As a self-employed guy, that's easier. If you're in a job and you have ADHD, that must be difficult, man.
Yeah. Well,
difficult.
I can't be employed, me. Honestly, I genuinely...
But you're unemployable.
And I can't...
How would that imagine giving me a job?
I mean, I don't know what... I try to monitor it now that I've got awareness of it.
Yes.
I'm totally deluded about time. I'm the latest guy you'll ever meet. And it's, people will think it's rude. But now that I've got the knowledge, I'm like, right, you're deluded about time.
Do you know why this is? Do you know about this?
Why?
Because we get a buzz. We get a buzz from stressing about being late.
Mate, I feel uncomfortable when I'm on time.
Yes.
Honestly, I genuinely like... I'm like, I'm on time here.
It's because we get the dopamine hit of being stressed about being late, and then the dopamine hit from being the one that's late and catching up on the conversation.
Walking with a cartwheel.
I've got to
hey, I'm late.
I'm here. Don't worry. I did it last night, mate. I was at the event at Phoenix. Loads of celebrities there. I was late. I'm here, guys, with my little jacket on. Do you know what I mean? This is what we do.
Yeah,
we seek out this total, like an adrenaline rush. We have a dopamine deficiency, so we're constantly seeking it. And that's why we love sniff so much.
Well, you know
the smell of it anyway.
But again, though, it's like, it's totally true. So, I had issues with alcohol and drugs and stuff. And again, just with the knowledge, like, I'm definitely... a man that needs that high.
You found a better tool. That's what booze and alcohol is. Yeah. That's what booze, alcohol, coke is. It's a tool. It's a medication tool.
I love the cold water.
Yes.
I had a 6-round boxing fight in December.
Oh, bro,
I'm one way or another, I just know that I need that high, but from the good shit.
Boxing changed my life.
Yeah.
Changed my fucking life, mate. I'll tell you what happened, mate. In 2015, 14, I had a business and I was doing lines in the middle of the day. Not drinking, dry lining, which is fucking horrendous. And I was still doing it. And I was on meds at the time. So the meds, the bipolar meds, I was on lithium carbonate, which just zombifies you. Awful.
Right.
So I was just wanting to feel something. So I'd snort lines in the middle of the desk and then go on fucking Zoom. No shit. Sorry, no shit. That's wild, isn't it? Because I'd want the buzz. And then one day, mate. Well, it's funny, innit? It's funny. You're laugh. It's funny. So I'd be, and it'd be the middle of the day. And then I had a friend at the time, and I was out of shape then as well. Like I was 5 stone overweight or something, right?
Right, okay.
And I had a friend, and he wanted to become like a boxing coach. So I've got another mate, Andy. He started Boxercise.
Right.
Remember that? Boxercise?
Yeah.
So he's doing all right, right?
Right.
That's like everyone's heard of Boxercise.
Yeah.
In fact, he has to sue people all the time for using the name because it's patented, it's copyrighted.
Oh, no way.
Oh, he's big deal, Andy.
I mean, I'll have to check myself because on our retreats, I actually use the word Boxercise. Oh, really?
Well, you shouldn't have mentioned that.
Sorry, mate.
Andy, be listening.
Sorry,
Andy, listen, let Anthony, he's me mate. Anyway, so he wanted to be so I set him up. I said, mate, can you get Stevie on your course? So he went on the course and he wanted someone to practice with before he had his exam. He took me on the pads and I was like, this is pretty cool. And he's like, yeah, fancy sparring? You big cunt. I was like, no. Fuck that. Anyway, he kept getting on as he was like, listen, let's do a spar next time. I got punched in the face. That was it. He punched me in the face. I punched him back in the face. And I was like, holy shit, this is a buzz.
Yeah.
And then I started boxing, having fights, and that led me to jiu-jitsu. My wife got sick of me getting punched in the head and coming up with
so I'm thinking about transitioning into that.
Jiu-jitsu is incredible,
yeah.
man.
I've done it years ago with me Dorman, and it was like, it was kind of like, wow, this guy could actually have sex with me if he wanted. Like that I was like, I thought I was good at fun fights. And
it's
wow, I literally got
it makes you feel so useless. It
up.
makes you feel how shit. It makes you realise how shit you are at fighting.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that led me to that. Because what I like about that is I can spar every day and not get hurt. Boxing, you couldn't spar every day.
No.
Not good for you.
No.
But jiu-jitsu, I can do it every day. But again, if you think about someone with ADHD, I get that buzz, man.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Meet loads of cool people. I train in 4 different gyms.
Great.
I've met some really cool people, man.
Honestly, everyone who I've come across who likes who does jiu-jitsu's always just super cool guys.
Oh, and they'll tell you within 2 minutes that they train jiu-jitsu. Within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's an example.
Vegan.
Vegan CrossFitter.
2 seconds. I need my phone's on loud. I quickly need to turn it off.
Or someone that does high rocks.
Aye.
Honestly, jiu-jitsu changed my life. Get obsessed with it again. Another thing that I get obsessed with.
Well, yeah.
And the best people that do ADHD, right? Sorry, the best people that do jiu-jitsu, they'll often have ADHD.
Yeah.
I was talking to Chris Ramsey last night. Chris is really good at jiu-jitsu, just got his blue belt. ADHD as fuck.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Meant to
That's
jiu-jitsu.
how to focus.
Yeah. It is.
And also, though, this is...
Find your thing that gives you attention surplus.
Yeah. You know what, though? Honestly, I've had a few questions prepped and we've literally
We're
not
jumping
touched
around.
on them, but it's
what we do.
But on a side note, though, I don't know how you feel about this, and I probably think you'll think the same, but as a man, being able to defend yourself, I actually think it's like swimming. You should be able to do it. You know, if you're a family man, and the confidence it gives you as well.
So many people, blokes, especially up here, think they can do it. Yeah. We'll be at the UFC at the weekend. We're going down Saturday for the UFC. There will be so many fights in the crowd.
Yeah.
There'll not be a single fucking punch landed.
Yeah.
People will be falling over. You see it all the time, especially the Scousers are fighting, and Molly's on the card, so there'll be Scousers fucking throwing pints at people and that. It's wild. Yeah. Sorry, the Scousers, but it's true. But the boxing's the same. People have a drink and think they can fight. And my son thinks it's hilarious because he doesn't like drinking, and he's a boxer, and he's done jiu-jitsu until maybe a couple of years ago. Did it for years, so he knows what it's. My son's had fights. Yeah. He's a rugby player, and he just laughs at people. He's like, "Dad, holy shit, man!" And it's mad, but it's the same with comedy. People have a drink and think they're a fucking comedian. You know the hecklers? You've had a drink, have you? The hecklers are amazing in comedy, by the way. Amazing. They actually make it sometimes.
Really?
Oh, mate, it's class. You can just call people what they want. You call girls slags and they don't even get offended. Like, will you shut up, you slag? The thing is hilarious.
Well, we got Troy Hawk on.
Oh, what a guy. Did you get him on?
Yeah, we got him on the podcast.
I love that guy.
Yeah, unbelievable.
He is coming to Borough soon. He's at the Edson.
That's where I watched him, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, we watched him.
So my friend James hosts that event. Did you see James? James Kilvington, Borough lad. He's normally the MC, goes in between comedians.
I'm trying to think. There was the guy who done it was a stand-in. He'd got the call late, so it might.
Maybe not.
But he was just talking about, like, we touched on like hecklers and stuff, and he was just like, it's just like, you know, muscle memory. It's just like, you know, what he's done it for years. Yeah. So it's just like,
it's so good.
And also generally they've got the hecklers, the piss, they've got zero crack.
Zero crack.
Like
no.
they're dealing with the you know, a professional shit talker.
Yeah. Well, mate, there's some guys. You got your Scouser Paul Smith. He's made his career on hecklers.
Yeah.
James, my friend James, amazing at it. And Russell Kane's good at it. Like all the best comedians. That's where I think that's often where you see who's actually funny. Yeah. Versus who's a good performer.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you're obviously a keynote speaker. Yeah. But the comedy one that you're doing, that's a very interesting one, because for me that's probably the ballsiest stand-up speaking you can do. Yeah. Go on stage with a microphone and make people laugh. That is.
Do you know what's a weird thing, right? I have been on stage for a long time. I consider myself top draw speaker because I've done it for so long. I get paid money. I practice it hard. So I consider I'm like, I'm a good speaker. I'm going to charge what I'm worth. So people are like, I'm not paying that. I'm like, well, I'm not doing it then.
Right,
and I
okay.
do I've done a lot of free stuff for the mental health stuff. I still do a lot of free. I go in jails and do keynotes, which by the way, amazing.
Yeah. So
I've never experienced.
I've done a talk in a prison.
I've never experienced anything like that feeling. Terrifying as well.
The nerves that I had, and I don't know about how you, but the welcome, but after, once you've done it, I couldn't believe the warmth.
Amazing. Did you get the tour of the jail?
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
I don't know.
They didn't let me in the non-section because I wasn't young enough. Sorry, that's so bad, man. Close. But yeah, that's from me stand-up set. But mate, the stand-up is, I did it because I think I'm funny, right? I quickly found out that I actually wasn't that funny. So I did it because I was funny, because I thought I was funny. And the first 2 gigs that I did, so I did the course. Met some
did you do the course?
Like a 6-week course.
Shout
out Carl Halbert, Alfie Joey. Remember Alfie Joey?
Oh, no, Alfie Joey. Did you do his?
Oh, he's class.
Oh, I love that.
Alfie's so fucking cool. He's
great speaker.
So cool. Great speaker, funny. Have you seen the thing that he does with the paper airplanes?
No.
Oh, ask him about it when you see him. It's class.
Oh, right.
Every time I see him, I'm like, mate, do the paper. Well, I wasn't going to. I was like, mate, do the fucking paper airplane. It's class.
Oh, really?
Really good, So I did the course, and that night, I remember a couple of things. One, everyone was nervous, and I wasn't nervous.
Right, okay.
And it was simply because I've done the before bit all over the world. Fucking made 1,200 people at the Time Theatre in 2021 just to see me. Amazing.
Wow.
Right? Amazing. I've been fucking flown apart. So I've done all the before bit before. So I felt okay. And then as soon as I got on the stage, I was like, fuck, it's real.
Right.
Shit, they're not laughing at what I think's funny. The feedback is, because you know when you do a keynote, you know you're going to get a round of applause at the end.
Yeah.
And when people aren't talking, it's a good sign. Sorry, not laughing or not saying anything, when they're quiet and taking notes, a good sign.
Yeah.
In comedy, it's a terrible sign. If the crowd are quiet, terrible.
Yeah.
Keynote, great. So the feedback's instant.
Yeah.
But the first 2 were actually fairly easy. And then I got an offer. Do you know Ginger Carl? Ginger Carl Builder has a big YouTube, Facebook. Ginger Carl, Angry Bob. Robin Armstrong, the Baldy Geordie.
I'm absolutely
Well,
useless.
I got offered to do basically, I bought 2 tickets to see them.
Right, okay. And these are stand-up guys?
Stand-up guys, big social media following, and a guy called James Kilvin who hosts at the Ha Ha Comedy Club in Eston. James is fucking class, right?
Right, okay.
And I go to this gig. Sorry, I buy tickets. Carl messaged me, do you want a set? I was like, no.
Wow.
I was like, what for? I said, I've done 2 gigs for charity. People don't want to see you fail at charity events. They'll laugh at anything. And that's what happens in keynotes. People laugh at anything, usually because the other speakers are boring, right? So I thought I was funny. Anyway, I go to this gig with my dad and my son, and it's in Battle Hill, right? Rough. It's, imagine the roughest social club you've been in, remove the 70-year-old men and fill it with 30-year-old lads full of packet. Mate, the first comedian basically ran off the stage because he couldn't handle it. And he was a pro comedian. And my dad was like, you sure about this, son? And in that moment, I changed my entire set. I was like, I am going to have to go naughty. So because you know Russell Kane, a comedian?
Yeah.
So Russell's a good mate of mine, Russell. And I sent him my first set. He was like, it was all right. You're safe as fuck. You're corporate. I was like, I thought I was expecting positive. I wasn't ready for that kind of feedback. I was like, corporate, safe. I'm telling fucking wanking jokes, mate. He was like, safe as fuck. You're way funnier than that. You're way ruder. He said, go.
Right.
He said, and I said, I was like, I'm going to have to go dark. So I said, right, I'd had these ideas for a while. I was like, fuck, I'm just going to go with it because these blokes they were literally baying for blood because they were really there to see real comedians. They were there to have crack and banter and that. And I was like, and I went, right, lads, and listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. I said, I'm not really a comedian. I'm a corporate speaker. I said, normally I'm talking about living, laughing and loving. Tonight, I'm going to talk about drinking, sniffing and wanking. And they went, this is when I knew I got it. They went, yes! And I was like, well, let's go with this theme then.
Oh, wow.
And then I told jokes about wanking in the bath, and just told loads of really rude jokes. And I was like, I've never had it was addictive as fuck.
Right.
People,
Troy Hawk mentions.
Unbelievable. It was addictive, mate. People were laughing before the end of the joke. And I was just making this shit up. I was telling the rudest things that I've ever done and ever seen, the worst thoughts that I've ever had.
Right.
Loads of paedophile jokes, loads of wanking jokes, shagging jokes, 69s, anal jokes. Like I was honestly telling, like real toilet pathetic humor that my wife thinks is not funny. She's like, that's fucking disgusting, right? And that was it. I was like, yeah, this comedy thing is fun, a lot of fun. And then James Kilvin and seen it. Mate, the next 2 gigs I did were with the Lost Voice guy, the guy that won Britain's Got Talent, comedian.
Wow.
And then with someone off fucking Phoenix Nights.
Wow.
And then the problem, and I haven't done a gig since then. Here's why. I've got to remember what I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build a business where I work with married businessmen who need to get their shit together. I'm trying to become a well-respected author.
Yeah.
And this is what started happening was I get paid money for doing these gigs. I mean, comedy stuff would start coming in. And I was like, whoa, I need to slow down here.
Right.
I need to slow down a little bit. I mean, there's being funny on stage, being a public speaker, corporate, right? Where people are paying you big money.
Yeah.
And then there's throwing in wanking jokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, this is crossing over a bit much.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so I put it on hold for now, but I will 100% revisit it because it's addictive.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest, it's
a lot of travel as well, mate. Always on a night time. I hate being out on a night time. I'm not antisocial, but I'm like, I like being around my kids and getting to bed early and that.
Yeah.
And it's always on a weekend and it's always travel. So it started interrupting.
I definitely want to tick that box. Like,
mate, it's so
I
much
think
fun.
it's that, whether it's that performer in me or, you know, I do the keynote speaking and it's kind of, like I touched on before, for me, it's the most ballsiest. So the fact
when you
that
do it, you'll find keynote speaking easier.
Yeah.
Way
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah. Just the fact that it scares me, I'm like, okay, I wanna give that little dabble. So
and it'll improves the keynote so much.
Well,
as long as you keep the dark stuff out of it.
Boxing does, because I've had a few fights and I'm thinking, well, you know what? Like, step into the boxing ring and you find keynote speaking.
I'm telling you now, you can't talk you out of a boxing match. I can talk you out of most things. Mate, it's why I compete in jiu-jitsu. I hate it.
Yeah.
People are like, well, why are you doing it? I'm like, well, I have a belief. When you do hard stuff, you get self-belief.
Yeah.
When you do hard stuff, you get confidence. Most people want confidence without doing hard stuff.
You know what, as I seen Goggins and I forget the other guy's name, but they were.
I bet you've never seen Goggins laugh. Miserable cunt.
Oh, really?
Have you ever seen him laugh?
I actually haven't, no.
Inspirational now, but I'm like, miserable.
Yeah. Well, I seen them do this piece, and the guy's like a doctor and stuff, and he was actually saying there's actually huge actual benefits of actually doing stuff that you don't like doing.
Yeah, your brain changes.
They're saying
your brain changes on the other side of it.
Brain changes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like getting really technical, and I can't quote what he was saying.
Yeah.
But there's huge benefits of doing shit.
Yeah.
That really hard
things, challenging things. People are like, well, I love jiu-jitsu, but I hate competing. Do you know why? People are watching.
Yeah.
And I can't talk me out of it. People are like, I was working with a mindset coach, and I'll tell you, he's called Vinny Shawman. He's been on Joe Rogan twice, works with fighters.
Right.
And I was like, why am I freezing here? Boxing was fine. Talking's fine. Even comedy's fine. The jail stuff, fine in the end. But jiu-jitsu, I just freeze.
Oh, really?
And he was like, and I realized I can't talk my way out of it.
Right.
There's no way to cheat. And he was like, Paul, you've done this. You've been here. You've spoken fucking theatres, right? You've opened. You know James Smith? James is a fitness guy, millions of followers.
Oh, right, yeah. I do know.
Massive podcast. I've opened for James in Newcastle City Hall. I've opened for James. He's like, why? You've done that. He's like, you've spoken in Puerto Rico. You fought boxing. I'm like, I don't know. But I'm going to find out. So I've hated it a little bit less every time I've done it.
Right, okay.
And what I've realised is, and this is what he said to me, this blew me head off. He said to me, Paul, I'm going to tell you something right now, and I'm not going to do another coaching call with you after this. He said, no one cares. I said, what are you on about? He said, you think that people care whether you win or lose at jiu-jitsu? He said, no one gives a fuck. And I was like, how rude. And then, right, because the nerves are because people are watching. Are they going to think I'm shit? Am I going to get choked out in front of all these people?
Yeah.
Right? Boxing, I just had a little bit more experience and I knew how to cheat a little bit because you can stay on the outside.
Yeah.
You can cuddle, you can cover. Jiu-jitsu, there is none of that.
Aye.
You've got a man trying to strangle you, break your arm, pull your foot off.
Yeah.
For 5 minutes, no rest. You can't cheat.
What's the cardio like on that one?
Ridiculous.
Is it?
Non-stop. There's no hiding. There's no hiding. You don't really dictate the pace.
Wow.
Unbelievable. So there's not, because someone's trying to choke you or you're trying to choke them. Where's the rest? There isn't any. And it's 1 5-minute round.
Yeah.
There's no rest in between. There's no getting punched and getting back up. You get subbed or you don't.
Yeah.
So and he said to me, people don't care. And I was like, okay. So I took that into my next match in December. Lost, did better, made a couple of mistakes. But the fights I had before that, I didn't make any mistakes. I did nothing, just froze. Made a mistake, got subbed in the final of the Brits. Took that with me. And then I competed again in February in Middlesbrough. And I took that attitude with me. And what I did was, I told a few people about it, but I didn't have a corner. I didn't really know anyone there, so I didn't video it, didn't take any photos. And this is mad. A week later, do you know how many people had asked me how it went? None. And that's when I realised no one cares. My wife had asked, and then I realised, he said to me, oh, Leslie cares. I was like, and then I realised, actually, She doesn't. She just wants me to think she cares. She doesn't give a fuck whether I win or lose. She just wants me to be happy.
Yeah.
She wants me to have fun.
Yeah.
And then the next week, I competed again last weekend and I won. First time. In front of loads of fucking people.
Yeah.
I even had, so I've hired a new social media lady who's doing me videos, and she lives in Manchester. I'm like, I'm in Manchester, do you want to do some videos? She was like, what, before a fight? I was like, yeah, I need to be distracted before a fight. Do you know what I mean? I want to be distracted. Yeah. So anyway, we did that, and then she was like, can I video your match? And I was like, no. She said, what for? I said, it's too much pressure. She did it anyway. And then I did it, and then I posted that I'd won, and really, again, 6 people were bothered that I'd won. I didn't post that I lost, by the way. But I posted that I'd won. Yeah. And again, no one was bothered. So I'm competing again next Sunday. I'm just trying to get this momentum. I've hated it a little bit less every time. I've got used to it. And I've always got this thing, if you want to get better at something faster, do it more often. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's this thing called failing fast, failing forward. Which is fail as fast as you can. Yeah. And then you get to the win faster.
Yeah. Well, I heard a quote once saying, the more no's I get, the closer I am to a yes.
100%. I bet you use that when you're on the pool. You know what I mean? Eventually, eventually someone's going to say yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a conversation I get. But,
I'll put you right off.
I'm just trying to remember you're on the podcast.
That is my last listening.
You're on the podcast. But I mean, that's the thing though. In terms of it's okay to fail, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Just because you fail doesn't mean you're a failure.
Yeah.
That's what people think. They think because they failed it makes them a failure. I'm like, no. You think about any successful person, anyone that's good has failed more times than most people have even fucking tried. Yeah. And in every one of those, you know, John Kavanagh, Conor McGregor's coach. Yeah. He has a book. He has a book called You Win or You Learn. Yeah. Great quote. With those competitions that I've lost, and in business, I've spent 10 grand on an app that never even launched. Lost 10 grand. But I learned a lesson. Yeah. I learned something from it. So it was a very expensive lesson, but that's in jiu-jitsu. I look at the match, instead of hiding from it and think, I lost. I'll look at it, I'll be like, what did I do well? Yeah. What mistake did I make? What could I have done better? Yeah. What I learned from the last one was just being the whole, it's not that serious. No one cares. Yeah. I was actually raising the importance of it. The biggest lesson that I got was I was making it more important than what it actually was. Yeah.
Well, I mean, ego. I want to hear your. I just want to fire words at you because of just your take on.
I get accused of having a big ego.
Ego. Well, we've all got it. I haven't got it. So I just want to hear your general thoughts on ego.
So my belief around ego is that your ego's job is to protect you. It's to protect you from pain, protect you from hurt, protect you from embarrassment, whatever. So your ego's there to protect you. And it tries to do that by letting you know that people might say certain things. Yeah. People might comment on certain things. So actually, the people with the biggest egos are the people that can't get over themselves. Mm-hmm. People say, get over yourself. I'm like, well, I have. That's why I'm able to do these videos. Yeah. Well, I have. That's why I'm able to make that post. That's why I have got over myself. So my ego, my confidence is high. People might think my arrogance is high. Yeah. But I'm able to back up my talk a lot of the time. That's what I believe is the difference between confidence and arrogance. I think arrogance is talking a good game.
But the thing is, I think we've got there's a very, I think, a negative feel. What is wrong with being super confident and having super self-belief? Mm-hmm. It's not offensive. A bad thing.
I feel like I've got offensive levels of confidence. Yeah. But that only comes from, mate. Confidence isn't something that you're given. I haven't always been confident. When I was at school, not confident. When I left school, not confident. When I was rock bottom, zero confidence. Yeah. But then I learned something about confidence. That's not something that you have. It's not something you're born with. It's not even something someone else can give you. Yeah. Because us men, someone else will give you a compliment, it's gone. We don't believe them. Yeah. This is why people on the internet, you can get 100 positive comments. You only pay attention to the negative one. Mm-hmm. So confidence is something that I found out it's created. And it's created and it's curated and it's cultivated by paying attention to what you're good at. By putting your focus on what. So every day, mate, since 2016, I have wrote down 3 things, 3 little wins, 3 little victories, 3 things I got done, 3 people I might have impacted, 3 things I did well that day since 2016. Wow. That is 9 years of training myself to focus on what I'm good at, what I'm achieving, what's working. That's confidence for me. Since 2020, I went to 5, and I sometimes have to work hard to find 5 things I did well. Yesterday, I was on Zoom for 8 hours. So I had to really remember, right, I can't just put Zoom down. Who had an impact on that call? What advice did I give them that changed life? What did someone tell me that I'd help them with? So I found 5 wins yesterday fairly easily in the end. But doing that, and then at the end of the week, I'll write down the 5 biggest ones. So I'm looking back again and putting my attention and my focus on things that I'm good at.
Yeah.
And you can't help but build confidence. So confidence is created,
Yeah.
and it comes from measuring progress.
Yeah, and I think I was doing some speaking, and then there was a Q&A, and one of the guys said, like, "Oh, how are you so confident?" And it was like, for me, it's like what you've touched on there. It's not this like magic thing that you have, or and I said, listen, I still get fear.
Yeah, of course.
I still get the nerves.
Yeah, of course. That means you give a fuck.
Yeah, but I mean, one of my favourite quotes is the Gustamente, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Ali's, it's about the hero and the coward both feeling the same, but the hero does
with fear. With fear.
Yeah.
It doesn't disappear.
You have
to do things to get confidence. You have to do things without it. You get it after.
Yeah. And like what you
Why would you feel confident about something you've never done?
Yeah.
Why would you think, I believe I can do that? You've never fucking done it. You don't have to believe you can do it. There's there's 2 things I want to say on this, Mick, because you brought up some amazing points. There's a girl called Emma Raducanu, the tennis player. She's the first ever qualifier who's won the US Open ever. She won that tournament as a qualifier, first ever. So she wasn't even ranked, not even ranked. She had a flight booked home for the day after her first match. That's how much she didn't believe she could win it.
Wow.
You know what she won? She won the first match, just kept hitting balls. She kept showing up anyway, without self-belief.
Yeah.
So she had no self-belief.
Yeah.
She had a flight. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's evidence that you don't need confidence or self-belief. She didn't believe in herself that she could win it.
Wow.
But she won it anyway.
Wow.
My son had his first fight in December. I'm cornering him. And he's very different to me. He's like my wife, like just reserved.
Right, okay.
Chilled, fucking silent assassin, right? Plays rugby in that, quietest player on the pitch, comes home with stud marks all over him and that, right? Anyway, I said, son, it's all right to be nervous, you know? Because he wasn't displaying any nerves. So it's all right to be nervous. And he went, what's the point in that? I had no logic. I said, you're going to get punched in the face. He said, I get punched in the face every week. I was like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I said, but there's loads of people going to be there. He was like, so what's the point in being nervous? But he actually said to me, so my son does work on his mindset, because obviously he doesn't do it with me, I'm his dad. Does work on his mindset with Luke O'Nine. Luke's Sunderland captain. It's his fucking hero, right? So Luke's a friend of mine now, somehow. And Luke's been teaching him that fear and excitement are the same.
Yeah.
It's the same. You feel emotion in your body.
Yeah.
And it's the same emotion when you're excited as when you're scared. Yeah. So he actually quoted that to me. He said, well, Dad, Luke said that being nervous and being excited are the same feeling.
Yeah.
So I'm choosing to be excited. I was like, bro. And in his fight, my mate was the ref. You know my mate that I set a spar with the first time in 2014?
Right, okay.
He was the ref.
Right, okay.
He was the ref on my son's fight. He came over at the end of the fight. He said, is he all right? I said, what do you mean? He said he was like laughing in the middle of the fight. He was laughing in between rounds because I knew to keep. I was going, first round comes over, I bust nose. I was like, you having a good time, son? That was the first. You having a good time? He said, oh, Dad, I'm having a great time. He said, I think I've got a snotty nose. And I was like, bro, it's pissing and blood all over your face. Didn't care. And I was like, I wish I had that, but actually it's because of what he's being taught, because what he's believing.
Well, you know what? You mentioned before about practice. So again, that's like me. So if I went on stage and literally had no prep,
yep.
I'd be shitting myself. Yep. But I know that I've relentlessly practiced. So I'm like, I'm feeling the nerves, but you know what?
And I bet when you had your fights, you trained hard for them.
Oh,
I have cornered, mate, probably 200 fighters in my time, right? In white collar.
Right, okay.
So lads that have trained for 12 weeks, got in shape. That's how I started. 12 weeks, got in shape,
came
to
how
fight.
I started.
The ones that haven't trained hard enough, I'm telling them all the way through, mate, you need to get to sparring.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot me gum shit. I'm like, mate, don't forget your running.
Yeah.
You can't run in the ring.
Yeah.
Right? So I've been out running. I'm like, mate, you need to fucking spar. Yeah. You need to feel what it's like to get smacked in the face and how you react. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
If I had another fight, so do you watch GB News or not?
What's that, sorry?
Do you know Adam Brooks, that's on GB News? I was calling him out last year to have a fight with him.
Oh, really?
Right? He's a sound guy. Right, and I was like, he's same age as me, I'd love to fight him.
Right, okay.
My elbows are fucked, right?
Right, okay.
So I was in talks with Misfits and that.
Oh, really?
Anyway, I'm calling, and I would have if I had that fight, I'd just spar. I wouldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hit pads. I wouldn't hit the bag. I'd just spar.
But
all the lads that haven't done the training, at the end of the first round, they're trying to get out. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm like, I fucking told you that, Afghan.
Yeah.
I told you it's for trying to get out.
But the thing is, though, it's I
cornered a lad once and I had a line before his fight.
Yeah.
I need energy. I'm like, trust us, bro. When you hear your name called, you'll have energy.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how tired you are. When you hear your name, when you hear walking music and you walk to that ring and you see people watching you and then the bell goes, you will have energy. Trust me.
But the thing is, though, that it's so good. I recommend giving it a try. Step in that ring, because I just done it in December, and like you said there, though, I was like literally going to spar all the time,
and that's scary on its own, man.
Yeah, like especially if you've got the family life. I'm like, I've got my two little boys and my missus, and they're watching Christmas movies, and I'm going meeting on Yarm Road and fighting a young traveller lad, and I'm like, and I'm like, I don't want to. I want to stay and have a Domino's, but you.
Mate, I question myself.
You know,
before every jiu-jitsu match, I think,
have to do it.
What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah,
what am I doing here?
I do.
What am I doing? What the fuck have I signed up for here?
Yeah,
I could easily have stayed at home.
Yeah.
Mate, the last comp I did, I didn't. So normally when you go to a comp, the whole gym goes.
Right.
So
Okay.
all the lads are competing.
Right. Okay.
This, and bearing in mind, I shouldn't do this because apparently it's frowned upon. I train in 4 different gyms because of time, because of my schedule.
Right. Okay.
I train in 4 different gyms.
Right.
Not a single person from these gyms, all have hundreds of members, was in the comp.
Right.
So I didn't even have anyone in my corner.
Right. Okay.
And everyone was like, what are you doing? I also had to compete in the age division down and the weight class up. So I was 4 kilos lighter than everyone else I was fighting.
Wow.
And again, everyone's like, why are you doing it? I'm like, well, because I want to get I want to do something hard.
Yeah.
And there's definitely something in doing hard stuff. Confidence isn't going to show up, self-belief, all of that comes after doing the hard thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? People want it before. Why? Why would you believe you can do it when you've never done it, or you haven't, whatever it is? And it's such an important thing, because you mentioned it at the start, the action thing's huge, man.
Yeah. Talk to me. This is, not a plug, but
it is a plug. It is a plug. Shut up.
Technically is. No, but I was going to bring it. I was going to bring it up though. So talk to me. Like, what is this book about?
So the book was meant to be called Unfuckwithable. Right? So the first line in the book is unfuckwithable. Unfuckwithable is essentially this place you can get yourself into mentally and physically when you feel like no negativity, no drama, no bullshit can get near you. It's like having this fucking force field. And I think that's incredibly empowering. However, the publisher loved the title, but they said when you see it on a cover, it looks like it says unfuckable.
Yeah.
And no one wants to be unfuckable. Right?
Fair.
So anyway, they were like, what do you think of Upgrade? I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. But the reason I wanted the book deal was really interesting. That was an 8-year goal of mine. Took me 8 years ago thinking I want this book deal. And there's 2 reasons I wanted it. Number 1, I believe what I'm doing is important. I believe what I'm doing works. Right? I believe it's practical, and I believe it particularly works for just British blokes.
Yeah.
Blokes on the fucking... I wanted a book that I could write that people who wouldn't normally read would pick up.
Right, okay. Right?
So I wanted to get me working in more people's hands, and I wanted to see my book, this is wild, I wanted to see my book on the shelves in W.H. Smith in Newcastle Airport.
Yeah.
Because I became friends over the years with a lot of celebrities, athletes, etc. I don't know how. It's just fucking happened. Ex-SAS people and that. It's mad. My kids think it's mad. How do you... When I went to my daughter's parents even the other day, they're like, Nina tells us she knows fucking Russell Kane and Middleton and that, and she thinks they're all lame, right? Well, because they don't care.
Well, you know what is? I was doing a lot of research on you and stuff, and the caliber of
testimonials,
the caliber of people that I mean, it's unbelievably impressive.
And I don't know how it's happened.
Well, it's clearly, it's clearly because of how good of the stuff that you're doing. Yeah. There's you can't bullshit your way through.
No, people soon notice it. People soon notice it.
There's proof. There's clearly proof in the pudding.
Yeah, it's mad. So I'm at the book. They were like, oh, Dad, there's his book. When you're gonna have one? So anyway, this is the worst part. I ended up getting the book deal, and obviously I'm delighted. I didn't even expect to get a hardback. I would have been happy with a paperback.
Yeah.
Get a hardback deal.
Is that like a...
That's the big shit.
Is that a level...
That big dick shit. That's big dick energy.
There's levels to the hardback.
Levels, man. There's levels, man.
Wow.
Getting a hardback deal, especially in my industry, the personal development game, you've either got to have a huge following.
Right, okay.
Because they're guaranteed sales.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
I have a small following compared to a lot of the people.
Okay.
Or you've got to be a doctor or something.
Right,
Why would someone listen to a bloke that they've never heard of, from a fucking obscure little town in the northeast.
Yeah.
Why would they do that? So them backing me was a huge deal for me. Huge deal. I'm so grateful for HarperCollins for backing me because I'm a risk.
Yeah.
I'm a risk. If I think about it like this, they've got to pay me to write it. They've got to pay to be edited. They've got to pay proofreaders. They've got to pay to print that thing. They're not cheap, man.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a big risk, and they've got to pay to get it in Waterstones, lose money in the boot to get it in Waterstones,
Right.
and all for no guaranteed sales. With an influencer with millions of followers, they're guaranteed sales because people will buy it even if it's shit.
Yeah.
Because they trust the influencer.
Yeah.
That's not me. So anyway, I've been to Newcastle Airport twice since it came out. WH Smith has been closed for refurbishment both times. Isn't that mad? But I've had photos of it on the day it was released and that was some buzz for me, man.
Oh, yeah.
And then last week I did the signing at Waterstones, which I was like, that was like a pinch. What the fuck has happened here?
Yeah.
People waiting outside the shop for me to sign a book.
Wow.
That's mental. I wouldn't even go to a book signing.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely got that. I don't know whether it qualifies as that cult following, but like, I've had people specifically saying you need to get.
It's mad, isn't it?
To get Paul on your podcast.
It's mad.
So
all I've done, mate, is tell my story. That's all I've done. Tell my story, share what works for me, share my life.
Yeah.
There's no real planning goes into it. Any business coach ever hates it. They hate me. Business owners me business coaches are like, Paul, you need a plan. I'm like, I don't do well like that. I do well off the cuff.
Yeah.
I do well thinking, hey, with a camera, I'm like, come here. I've got something to say.
Right. Okay.
And when I say it means that it's not like rehearsed. It's not planned. It's just like shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
Sharing things that work for me.
Yeah.
Because if it works for a normal bloke like me, from Shields, it fucking works. There's no reason why a normal bloke who works on a building site can't do it, because that's all I am. Normal gadgy, 2 GCSEs.
Yeah. I think it's obviously you're a businessman, but I've heard you talk about actual purpose though.
Yes.
And impact and stuff.
That's
and
why I was rock bottom.
I think them core things though.
I mean, that's hugely why I was rock bottom, and it's also alongside the physical health thing, because I think a lot of people's energy is rock bottom because of the way they treat their bodies. They treat their body like a bin. Yeah. And then wonder why they feel like shit. There's a link, an undeniable link between your brain and your body.
Yeah. Well, let's quickly
consider this. I love this. Where do you feel feelings in your body? So if you're feeling these emotions that you don't like in your body, sure, it makes sense to treat your body better.
Oh, totally.
It's not all that. But the purpose thing that you mentioned, mate, I'm so passionate about this.
Yeah.
Because I believe the second reason that men end up in the hole is because they can't see a future. So they're focused on the past that they can't change, and they're focused on right now, which is where they don't feel great.
Yeah.
Excitement, where does that come from? Future-based thought. A sense of purpose, passion, that's about future-based thought, goals, outcomes, something to move towards.
Yeah.
And you think about this, mate, blokes in particular, we leave school, goals to get out of school, or maybe go to college, maybe go to uni, maybe get a job, meet a lass, get married, have a bairn.
Yeah.
This is when majority of men start struggling.
Yeah.
What's the purpose after that? There's no goal. Go to work, maybe get a promotion, maybe not. Go to work, wait to retire, wait to die. No sense of purpose. There's no excitement anymore. The excitement becomes, for me, this was me, make it a Friday. Get to Friday, get pissed. Yeah. Feel like shit on a Monday, grind through the week, get to Friday again. Yeah. And that's why people end up rock bottom. They're going around in circles. It's not that they're not working hard. They're going around in circles, but they're going 90 miles an hour to no destination in mind. Yeah. And that's as tiring as having goals, having an outcome. So the reason I've got this energy isn't necessarily because I have a perfect diet or I'm always exercising. I don't sleep well. I'm a terrible sleeper. Yeah. I don't sleep well. It's an ADHD brain that, by the way, the constant fucking thoughts. Yeah. I have this energy and this excitement, this passion for one reason and one reason only, what I focus on. Yeah. What I'm thinking about, what my attention's on, where I'm going next, what I'm doing next, who I'm seeing next, who I want to, that's all it is. Yeah. So when I feel, this is scary, you can change your body with thought alone. If I asked you right now, hey, tell me someone right now. Tell me about someone that really pisses you off. Tell me what they did to piss you off. Within a minute, you'd feel angry. Yeah. Within a fucking minute. Yeah. That's how powerful your thoughts are. That's how powerful a question is. I believe the questions are the steering wheel of the mind. If I asked you, hey, what you got going on this weekend that you're excited about? Within seconds, you talk even faster. Yeah, yeah. You might even get goosebumps. Yeah. Tell me about your wedding day. Yeah. Right, you'd start to feel goosebumps. You'd start to feel a feeling of love in your body. That's mad. Yeah. And we're not taught this.
Yeah.
And people get it when I talk about the positive stuff. I'm like, okay, why do you believe that you're feeling rock bottom? 1, energy. 2, what you're focused on. You're focused on all the things you're shit at. You're focused on all the things that aren't working, all the things that you wish you'd done, all of the mistakes that you've made.
Yeah.
Literally, you're thinking your way into depression.
Yeah. It's so important that for people listening as well. It's honestly, it's, you know, you can talk about it so much, but just your mindset, just literally a switch, just a little switch of
question,
just switching your mindset.
A question.
Yeah.
All it is a question. I can ask you a question. You can ask yourself a question. Completely changes the way that you feel.
Yeah.
So we're like, why did they do that? Oh well, my first experience of this was actually when I started getting haters. Right? When I started getting a bit of shit, I'm like, I thought it was about me. They're attacking me. They're going after me. They're calling me names. And then I realized actually they're doing that to make themselves feel better.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the star of their movie.
Yeah.
I am not the center of their universe.
Yeah.
And I started to realize this. I'm not taking someone to, there's a lot of trolls and that I just have banter with, right? I love, they're like hecklers, but on the internet. So I'm not going to just let a heckler keep shouting. I'm going to fucking get into them. Like, I love that banter me.
Right, okay.
They're my most popular posts.
Yeah,
When I say, someone will call me a dick, someone will say dick, and I'll say, no, thank you. And people love it when I post that content.
Yeah.
Because they're like, wow, that's a different way. Like James Blunt style.
Yeah.
James Blunt is amazing at dealing with trolls. But then telling someone to kill themselves, that's not okay.
No.
That's not okay. So I'll go, mate, that's not okay.
No.
Here's what happens sometimes. They can't even remember sending it.
No.
They're like, bro, I'm so sorry. I was pissed. I was full of packet. I was full of confidence.
Right.
Some people will leave in line and say, I got hacked. I'm like, you got hacked, and instead of going into your bank account and taking all your money, they trolled a random bloke. No, stop it. Yeah. At least 5 people say, oh, I got my account hacked.
Yeah.
What, and they message me instead of stealing all your money?
Yeah. You know what it is, though? That's an important message, especially with the youth in terms of dealing with social media and stuff.
Oh, bro, have you seen that new Netflix show?
No, not yet. But I've been told. But I think being just
frighteningly realistic.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
But I think understanding, you know, people who are saying negative stuff, it's not personal, really.
Your kids are going to have to deal with it, and so am I. Your kids are going to have to deal with it. Because it used to be the school ground. Because in the schoolyard, both my kids have done jiu-jitsu. So I've got no problem with getting bullied and them just fucking smacking them. Smack them in the face, they'll never bully you again.
Yeah.
My son got bullied in primary school and he ended up choking a kid out.
Right, okay.
And he was crying about it because he was like, well, he didn't tap dad. Like, he's never done fucking jiu-jitsu, that's why. The teacher told me what happened and she was like, it wasn't his fault. The kid kept keeping him, wouldn't leave him alone. And then he took him down, got on his back, put him to sleep. 8 years old, right? Never been bullied again. Right? But you can't do that on the internet.
No.
It could take up a lot of your time. Yeah. So I believe that actually people are like, what about your kids? Are you going to protect them from it? I'm like, no, it's real fucking life. I can't keep them in a bubble forever. So I'm hoping that they see my stuff. Because sometimes I'll go, how do you think I should respond to this? And they'll be like, oh, Dad, see this. It's Mark. Mate, it's Mark. Yeah. So they're learning through me how to deal with it. They're going to get it.
And generally, how do you? I think it comes with the territory of basically being successful.
It does. It's the popularity. For me, criticism, even in business.
Ever get to you? Ever at all?
Nah, I'm disappointed when I don't get it now because I have so much fun with it.
Right. Okay.
Criticism, I believe, is the cost of entry to being successful at anything.
Nice.
Mate, I've got a guy. You should follow him, Javino McLean, a good friend of mine. Javino works with disabled people. He's fucking incredible, this guy. Incredible. He's got, you know what I'm talking about Stoney before? Stoney had a bit of magic in him. A little bit of magic, and you could sprinkle it everywhere. Javino's got that on a different level. He's been here before. He's like, honestly, he's amazing. Even he gets criticism.
Right.
And he's working with disabled people, and he's amazing.
You're always going to, if you've got success.
It's the cost of entry,
100%.
and you're either willing to pay it or you're not. I'm willing to pay it. Yeah. But it's just because of the way I frame it. It's not about me.
Yeah.
And if you're going to take a shit in my front yard, it's fair game. It's fair game for the crack.
Yeah.
And some people love it, and some people I just get tumbleweed. The biggest criticism I get right now is why only men? And all I say is, why not? I never get a single response. Why not? Okay. Why not only men? Yeah. People can't reply to it. They just want to be offended. So I have a lot of fun with it. And again, I just see it like hecklers. They often make the night.
Yeah.
They make the comedy show.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's have fun with this. And people love to see the way that I deal with it. They love to jump on it. And I also believe this is important to me. So again, I'm friends with people that have a lot more followers than me. a lot more. Like Vicky, you know Vicky Patterson?
Yeah.
Vicky's a friend of mine, and she started dealing with it the way that I deal with it, right? She gets so much stick, man. Chris Ramsey, same kind of deal. They're always getting this shit off people. Aaron, same deal.
Yeah.
And there are some people that can't handle that. There are people that have killed themselves as a result of online hate.
Yeah.
So part of me thinks, when I'm saying that's not okay, I hope that I can take it, but I'm like, I hope it makes you think twice. About doing that to somebody else. Because guess what? I want your fucking mates to see it. I'm going to call you out publicly. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a screenshot of that and I'm going to share it because I want your friends to see it because it's not okay.
Well, there's the whole like
delete, block and delete,
freedom of speech and all that. But I'm on the fence of like, hang on a second.
That means I have it.
If you're saying something like that, well, that I don't care what. That's not. That's not okay.
I'm going to call you out on it.
100%.
I'm going to call you out on it because, again, there's this thing called self-defense. Someone punches me, I'm more than okay to punch them back. It's the same deal. But then the weird ones are the ones that start acting like a victim. Well, I can't believe the way you're talking to me. Hang on a second, bro. You came on my page in my garden, took a shit. I'm just throwing the shit back at you. If you don't like it, you know what they say, if you can't take it, don't give it out. And I'm just like, a lot of people don't like the way that I deal with it as well. They're like, Paul, why are you giving it energy? I'm like, I'm giving it positive energy. This is not negative to me. It doesn't make me angry. Again, if I go a week without getting called a cunt, I'm disappointed because I'm like, I start running out of content. Have you might not have seen this video. One of the most popular videos I've ever made is called Trolls in Real Life. So I took loads of comments that I'd got from people, and I got people that I know, including me kids, to come up to me while I was doing stuff. So there's one way I'm deadlifting, and my PT comes up and just goes, "Dick," and I'm just looking at him. And then I've got my daughter comes up saying, "I don't know who you are, but you're really annoying." And this video did really well for me,
right?
Because part of me thinks, you know, when people you say you wouldn't say that to my face, so I made this video. Where I'm like, I wonder what it's like to have someone come and say that shit to your face. And this video just went nuts. Because if you do it like that, it's funny. Because imagine walking up to somebody and just saying, "Dick."
Well, it's fun. That's a fantastic thing, though, of actually you literally turning a negative
into a positive.
A positive.
People loved it. People absolutely loved it, mate. And I am using positive energy to do it. But again, part of me is, I do want your mates to see this. I do want all of your friends to see this. There's some of these comments that I've had that I use in my keynote. Because I'm like, the reality is, if I'm teaching about success, I'm like, the reality is, no one shares it. Because they just block and delete. I'm like, I want to put light on it. I want to put light on it. Because it's not okay. And I'll share the slides on the stage. Look at this that I'm getting. So some of these people have been seen, full name.
Wow.
Because you've got to own it. I think there's got to be some level of accountability.
Well, 100%.
Because I don't think you can just go around saying what you want without any backlash. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So, and I've shared it on the stage. People have seen these names all over the world.
Class.
All over the fucking world.
And fair play. If you're gonna do that, then
I've got a new one that I'm working on where I give a mic to the people in the crowd and I give them the thing that's been said and they say it to me while I'm on the stage.
Right. Okay.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm trying it next Friday, and I think it'll go down amazing.
Talk to me. I mean, honestly, we could do a 5-hour podcast.
I mean, I've got 5 hours. So actually, I've got a haircut at 12.
I mean, you can sack them off. I'll do it. Give us me clippers.
Give me the low taper.
So the speaking then. So talk to me. Like, how did you get into that journey and realize actually I'm really good at this? And how did you first?
2006.
2006.
2006.
And where was the first person you done it with?
I was a personal trainer in South Shields. Right. And I had a business coach, my first ever business coach, Dax Moy, great guy. Funny enough, I started coaching him last week randomly. Wow. I'm now coaching my old coach.
Wow.
So Dax said to me, if you want to be seen as an expert, the two fastest ways to do it, have a book. Because the word author is in the word authority. You want to be an author. Everyone who sells expertise wants to be an authority and an expert. Two fastest ways, get on stage. Instantly, people think you're an expert. Get on the stage, have the spotlight on you. So my first speaking gig, this will blow your head off, was in the Sundial pub in South Shields, right on the front, upstairs. It was that bad I stuck to the floor as I was walking around the stage. There were 6 people there and one of them was me ma. That was my first experience of speaking, and I was like...
And what was it about?
Fitness.
Right, okay.
How to lose weight. And that was my first experience of it, and then I've just been addicted to it ever since. The only thing I don't like is the travel. So I make my kids have been everywhere, man. They've been to Puerto Rico, Dubai,
Wow.
seen me speak, because that's part of the deal now. I'm like, if you want me to come, especially if it's on a weekend,
Wow.
my kids are coming.
So
They
who
love,
have
that's
you-
how they meet so many cool people.
Yeah. Well, I've got into the keynote,
Yeah.
the keynote speaking stuff. So
Amazing.
I'm really intrigued about how did you grow, and how did you got to the level of being, you're getting flew out to different countries
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
wild. So I've did a few sneaky things. I actually love live events. I love being around people that are excited about the future. For me, that's intoxicating. So I actually go to a lot of events as well.
Right. Okay.
And if I'm wearing loud clothes, I don't do it on purpose. I just like loud clothes.
Yeah.
People will remember me.
Yeah.
And then I'll meet
It's
this.
peacocking.
It's peacocking. That's classic peacocking. So people will remember me, and I always make an effort to go and talk to people.
Yeah.
I make an effort. I'll be like, I loved your keynote. So I did a bit of networking.
Right.
And then I grew a bit of a following. Then if I want to speak at an event, I'll be, mate, how do I tell me 52,000 followers about your event? That I'm speaking at your event. But then I just started building up evidence, photos, videos. People would talk about me. So my goal when I speak at events, because if I'm at a multi-speaker event, you see a lot of the speakers pitch. They'll
Right,
pitch the
okay.
services. I never do that.
Right,
My
okay.
goal at any multi-speaker event is to be the one that they remember, to
Yeah.
be the most memorable speaker.
Yeah.
And that gets me more gigs. Someone will see me speak.
Yeah.
Paul, I've got an event. Love you to see me your event. That's
Yeah.
how I did it.
Right.
I just showed up a lot of, and the other thing is, I run my own events.
Right. Okay.
So there's a lot of people trying to get in the public speaking game. But the fastest way to do it, organize your own. Because guess how many I had at my first gig? 6. I probably had 10 at the next one. And what that gives you is confidence, evidence, video footage now. You can
Yeah.
video yourself speaking. That's your show reel. That becomes your show reel. So when
Yeah,
I'm on
yeah.
stage now, mate, and none of the other speakers have this usually. I did the event at St. James Park, multi-speaker event. I said, listen, I've got a video I need you to play before I come on. The guy didn't have to introduce me because the video does all the talking for me. And it's me on stage at the theatre. There's me on stage with, do you know Gary Vee? Gary Vee's a big deal in the social media world. He gets 300 grand a keynote.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's,
I couldn't.
Doesn't have slides.
It's blew my mind. I've for a long. I've done the Big Brother stuff,
Yeah.
and then I've been a barber, had
Yeah.
a business.
Yeah.
The money in keynote. I was like, I couldn't. I mean,
I mean, a lot of my friends are getting 10 grand an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I'm not commanding that kind of fee yet,
Yeah.
but the thing is, it's their profession. It's all they do.
Yeah,
So they're
right,
better than
okay.
me.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a side thing for me. I think eventually, maybe when I'm a little bit older, I think that's all I'll do.
Do you
One of
ever
them
want
ones.
to? Do you ever want to get on that red dot,
The red dot?
the TEDx?
Mate, I would not get on there. I wouldn't get on. Nah, I'm way too offensive.
Oh, really?
Because you ever heard anyone swear on there?
No.
Nope. Couldn't do it. I
What's
turn down
in you?
school gigs all the time. I really want to go into schools, but I cannot.
Oh, really?
I cannot help. It's not that I can't help myself. It's like I'm not willing to tone myself down to
Right.
be on
Okay. So
stage.
it's like you're not
I'd
prepared
fuck
to
up.
compromise.
Nah, I'm not prepared to compromise who I am, my values,
right,
what I'm
okay.
about, my passion. I don't swear for effect. I swear because I'm passionate.
Yeah.
So don't confuse the two things. And I'm like, just so you know, I got offered one yesterday. I'm opening Sunderland Startup Week. 550 people at the Firehouse in Sunderland.
Right.
I said, listen, just before we go any further, you must understand that I'm not going to tone myself down. I'm not prepared to dim me light. Some people might not like it. Like,
Right.
oh, Paul, all the people there, if people follow you, they know what you're about.
Right,
And
okay.
again, I don't do it for effect. I share experiences.
Yeah.
And experiences sometimes are not professional. They're not professional. I'm going to tell you the whole story. I'm going to go all in. I'm not going to skim over it. I'm going to go all in. Let's stay here for a little bit.
Right, okay.
But yeah, the speaking thing, something that I've done for a long time, something that I love. And again, building it up has been about evidence, showing up to events, meeting organisers, and just kind of momentum. And like
Right,
I say,
okay.
part of me wishes I had more time to do it, but I don't particularly enjoy the travel. Although,
okay.
again, I know a lot of comedians, and I heard one of them, it was either a guy called Carl Hutchinson, amazing comedian, Carl. He's got an Amazon series now, brilliant comedian. And I talk to these guys a lot because I get on well. You know when I say I don't know how I know these people? So I meet them and I get on well with them. The SAS guys, I know I'm friends with all those SAS Who Dares Wins guy because I meet them and they've got a sense of humour like mine.
Yeah.
Mucky, filthy, laugh at things we shouldn't really laugh at. Do you know what I mean? Laugh at things that other people will be offended by. That's what the SAS guy, you have to have a dark sense of humour to survive in that world. Same with the comedians. If I've got the same sense of humour as you, we're going to get on well.
Yeah.
And they were saying to me, and I mentioned it to them last night, because they were asking, Paul, why are you not doing the stand-up anymore?
I'll
And
have
I
to
told
come to
them.
your stand-up, like.
I mean, you will. The next one, I guarantee, is at Eston. Guarantee I'll be there next. I just
Right,
don't know
okay.
when.
Right.
And they And I heard them say it a couple of years ago, and I mentioned it to them again last night. I said it's the travel and the time, because they're on tour. My friend Russell Kane's on tour right now, but he's doing Comic Relief Strictly this weekend. You'll have to watch it. He's amazing. Russell's the maddest cunt I've met in my life.
Wait, I'm trying to think. Did he present Big Brother for a period of time?
No, Russell didn't, no. He looks like Nick Grimshaw, though. Russell is an incredible guy.
Right, okay.
If you see him, you'll recognise him. You'll know him. And he's up and down the country all the time. And I'm like, I was talking to Carl Hutchinson, and Chris Ramsey's going on tour next year. So I'm talking to them last night, and they said something. This saying blows me out. They're like, we do the comedy for free because we love it so much, but we get paid for the travel. And I'm like, that is such an amazing frame to put it in. So they make loads of money on the night, but they're like, actually, they frame it as the comedy's for free. I'm getting paid to be away from my family. I'm like, shit. That's such an amazing... Again, what is that? Changing what you're focused on. I'm focused on the travel being shit. I hate driving as well. Hate it. But they just changed the frame it's in. But the speaking thing, mate, again, I love it. I can see why you're trying to get into it, and the money is wild. But here's the thing. I get a lot of people asking me about it. I had to do hundreds for free. Hundreds of them for free. And that's because that's where you hone your craft.
Totally.
Comedians, man. I've got a friend, Daryl, got a big follow on Facebook and Instagram now. I coached him on his business, and he's having to go to comedy. He's done like 50 gigs and hasn't been paid at all. Right. Not a penny. That's what you have to do, because everyone sees the arena. And everyone sees the arena, but they're not willing to do it in front of 3 people who don't laugh at their jokes.
And in terms of your... Obviously, you've done it for a while now, though. So, if you got X amount of talks, is it always fundamentally about the same topic? How do you, or is it literally you've got to a level there?
I'll often ask them what they want. I'll ask who's in the room.
Right. Okay.
And I'll say I can talk about this, or this, but it all ends up being the same thing. I'm all about being unfuckwittable.
Right. Okay.
If you need tactics, I can give you them. But a lot of the time, they're like, Paul, we love what you stand for. What have you got? I say, well, what do you need? Who's in the room? And often it'll just be, well, I'll show them how to give less of a fuck about what people think. I'll show them how to deal with failure. I'll show them how to get out of a hole. And it's all storytelling. I literally have, for an hour keynote, I'll have 6 slides. None of them have words on. Because I'm not the guy that's reading bullet points. What I've learned very quickly is that people will read the slide before you can say it. So you're talking, they're not paying attention. And they're waiting for you to get on to the next slide. Because they want the information. So I have hardly any. And I think that when I'm speaking to a crowd, if I've got words on a slide, I'm looking like that. And they're there. That's why I like to know it off by heart. So I'll tell a story, I'll be fully engaged with them. There might be a slide and I'll go, and guess what happened? And then I'll pull up a picture of the slide. Like I'll pull up a picture, guess what happened next? I pull my pants down on the stage. Look at that. So I'll show pictures.
It paints 1,000 words, doesn't it?
It does. It paints 1,000 words.
Yeah.
And again, it's stories that's why I believe that book's so good. I wrap up information, because information's boring. It's really boring. People
storytelling, 100%.
I don't believe that people are at events sometimes to be given information. All of the other speakers give them information. I'm there to entertain them. Or what I call infotainment. Infotainment is information wrapped up in an entertaining story. People can buy into stories. This is what I love about it. You can't fuck a story up.
Because
if it's a personal story, no one knows whether that's true. Comedians call it creative license. They will put extra things in. They'll over-exaggerate things.
What is it? Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. So they will. I'll say. I'm like, did that really happen? I'm like, what kind of? 80% of it was true, but 20%. You've got to spice it up a little bit.
Well, I'm like that in the barbershop. 9 in the morning, there was 2 lads I had a fight against. By 6 p.m, there was 7.
Really?
Just constantly putting seasoning on it.
Just seasoning, that's it. Bit of Salt Bay. It's but yeah, I learned that from the comedians. But yeah, I think when you're at a multi-speaker event and you want to be remembered, you're not going to be remembered for the bullet points. You're not going to be remembered for the information.
Something I've seen, it was they don't remember what you like. They don't remember what you say, but they remember how you made them feel.
Yeah,
and it's
I will take you, mate. In my keynote, I'll take you on a roller coaster. I start with rock bottom, and people are like on the edge of their seat because I'm going. In 2014, I was rock bottom. Some version of that. It might be I said 8 words that I never thought I'd say. And I don't say anything else, and they're just like, because silence on the stage, incredible.
Gold dust, isn't it?
Don't say anything. Just look in the crowd.
I
remember one guy I seen speak, and he went. First thing he said, "Why are you fat?" I was like, "Fucking hell!" And he had the people on the edge of their seat. That's all he said, and they were going. Bah, 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 bah. It was mad.
It's very bold.
So I'm quiet. So I start off rock bottom, and then I just take them on a roller coaster. I take them on a roller coaster. There'll be laughs, there'll be inspiration, there'll be sad stories. And then I get to Stoney and they're all like, I'll say, Stoney's this, Stoney's that. But now, he's dead.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then I go on to the whole, you all say that. I have 2 stories about Stoney. One of them was that the lesson that I learned from Stoney was you have the opportunity to be the best part of someone's day every day.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen Stoney, best part of my day.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. That is a fucking gift from the gods, man.
Yeah. Which that's why I love being a barber.
Aye.
I love.
You get
my
to
role
make
as a
somebody's
barber.
day.
Yeah, it's the best thing about the
and
job.
I think you leave an imprint on every person that you meet, a small imprint on every single person that you meet. Whether you're getting served in the garage, you're leaving an imprint on them. Yeah. And I'm like, I can be the best part of your day here.
Yeah, totally.
So that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But the other lesson I learned from Stoney is obviously people say that life's short. It is.
Yeah.
You're dying. It's the last line in my book. You're dying.
Yeah.
And what happens in between now and then, that's is up to you. And I want my life. And again, I struggled with Stoney's death, mate.
Yeah.
I'd only been to 3 funerals in my life. I'm 45.
Yeah.
I couldn't get my head around it. I seen him 3 days before. He was 2 years older than me. I'd known him for 20 years. His kids are the same age as mine.
Yeah.
My kids were devastated. My son got his haircut there every week the same. Knew him since he was fucking born, maybe.
Yeah.
And I struggled with it. And then I was like, there's got to be something that I can learn in this.
Yeah.
And it was that I'm going to die one day. And I can't imagine getting to the end of my life thinking, I wish I'd done that. But, and the but is always, 99% of the time, I was worried in case it failed or I looked like a failure. People thought I was a failure, or people would criticize me, or people would think I was an idiot, or I'd look stupid. It's 99%. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine getting to the end of your life and thinking, I wish I'd done that, but I was scared in case of what people would think.
Totally.
That's why I want to get to the end of my life and think, fuck me, what a fucking ride.
Yeah.
I've been to nearly all the places I want to go to. I've met the people I wanted to meet. I've seen the matches I wanted to see.
Yeah.
I've got this fucking bucket list. People create a bucket list when they're being told they're going to die.
Aye. No, I've always
Guess what? Guess who's going to
that.
die? Everyone.
Yeah.
You don't even be told that you've got fucking 3 months to live to think, I want to achieve this now. Because their regrets will be that they didn't start sooner.
Yeah.
So what am I get asked on these, mate, I've done a lot of podcasts. I've been an absolute book slut recently. Absolute book slut. I did 9 last week. Right? You have to.
Totally.
And I get asked questions that are very similar. I haven't been asked them today, by the way, so thank you for that. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's a bit monotonous.
Yeah. I'm conscious of that as well, because I do loads.
Yeah, do you? And you get asked the same things all the time.
But sometimes you've got to ask the big questions.
Of course you do. Of course you do. You've got to have a chance to tell your story. And now I'm totally forgot where I'm up to.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. I'll jump in. It's interesting what, about. I think when you lose someone, losing people is one of the hardest, and it's interesting that Stoney is become part of the journey. I'll share where this comes from. So the never throw in the towel, keep on living. That actually they were the words that I used right at the end of my grandma's eulogy.
Oh shit!
So my grandma brought me up. So she was like, I had 2 mums. I had mum and grandma. Always lived with mum and grandma.
Yeah.
And so I got a message, someone who attended the funeral, and he came up and shook my hand. And later that night, he sent me a message telling us how he was literally in the darkest headspace ever, and he was struggling with his mental health, and he was going to see professional help. And he said, "I'm just letting you know I've clung onto the words, never throw in the towel." So it's similar in terms.
You know what I think, right? I think sometimes you don't get to choose. Life will throw the towel in sometimes, and I don't think we should wait till then. I don't think we should wait till then. Like sometimes you don't get the option.
Yeah.
When we're rock bottom, we have an option.
Yeah, I know.
So there'll be times where the towels gets thrown at you, like your grandma.
Yeah.
She got the towel thrown at her. She didn't choose to throw it down. She got it thrown at her.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I've got it in my hand now, I'm either going to get another one thrown at me, or I've got a decision to make here.
Yeah.
And I just think I've remembered what we're talking about now, and this is poignant actually. I get asked about regrets all the time, and I don't have any. Same as you. Don't really have any regrets. The only regrets that I have sometimes that I think about is I wish I'd started that sooner.
Yeah.
I wish I'd started jiu-jitsu sooner.
I wish I was
I'd
a
started
dad
speaking
sooner.
Yeah. Wish I'd started this shit sooner. I wish I'd have been a better dad sooner. Because my son, the first 2 years of his life, I can't remember.
Right, okay.
Because I was fucking rock bottom. I was all over the place.
Right, okay.
So, and my daughter, she was born in Marbella, where you just had that period of my life. People tell me I did things I can't remember doing, man.
Yeah.
Did a podcast with my friend Chris. He was like, remember when I came to Marbella and went there? I was like,
how did you, well, honestly, I've got so many questions for you. So how, we'll touch on environment.
Yes.
Will always trump will. I've seen that.
Man.
But, so you were doing.
I love that saying.
So you were doing you were the family man with the kids, but you were living in Marbella.
I wasn't a family man. I just had kids.
Right. Okay.
I had kids. I was not a family man. Anyone can call themselves a family man.
Yeah.
But your actions will describe whether you're a family man.
Yeah. And so was that?
I was not. I had kids.
So you weren't able to.
Nah.
You weren't able. You were in Marbella, and we know the clientele in Marbella.
Especially then, I was running away. This is where I got my head into this space. So at that time in my life, that year when I almost killed myself was the year I hit £1 million in my account. The first year, which, again, I'm not going to say money doesn't make you happy because it helps. I love money. I want all of it. Yeah. It allows me to give back. It gives me options. It gives me choice. It lets me take my kids to places I've never been.
Yeah.
It means that when I got the book deal, I was like, actually, I don't need paid for this. I want my book in people's hands. So don't worry about the money for me.
Yeah.
Let's get the fucking book out, which is an unbelievable position to be in, right?
Yeah.
But they don't go hand in hand. I've been miserable with money. I've been happy with money.
Right, okay.
I've been miserable without money. I've been happy without money.
Right.
I'm from fucking South Shields, man. I've got 2 GCSEs. I work an apprenticeship for 30 quid a week. You do that? You did apprenticeship, the fucking YTS, fucking BTEC, City and Guilds, right? I did all that, so I've had no money before.
Yeah.
And but when I was in Marbella, I wasn't a family man. I'd convinced myself, because it was when I first started learning about personal development, that you have to cut all of the negative people out from your life.
Yeah.
And I had cut so many people out of my life that I moved to a country where I didn't know anyone. I didn't speak to my mum for like 6 months because she was negative. What I quickly realised that there's no such thing as, when I got my shit together, I was like, actually, people like complaining. So I was complaining about people being negative, which, what does that make me?
Yeah.
I'm whining and thinking people are negative. That makes me what? Negative.
Yeah.
Or does it just make me human? We love to complain. I love to piss and moan. First thing I did, traffic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be considered negative. Whine and complain. It's what we like to do. It makes us feel better. Yeah. So actually, I put myself in a position where I was just isolated. Didn't know anyone. Met a dealer. Only person I knew. Get pissed. Okay. It's not cool. Go out on me. I go out on me.
Why did you move to? It was an active.
I went on vacation there. No. I went there because I hated people.
Right. Okay.
I hated people. The truth is, I hated myself. That's the truth. Hated being around people. People would piss me off, trigger me. And I was of the belief that I need to remove all these negative people from my life. Get rid of all the toxic people.
So you thought you were getting...
I thought I was going there to live a better life. I went on honeymoon and didn't come back for 2 years. But I did. Remember lads' holidays when you used to come back and you'd be like, oh, holy shit. Or because the fucking pills would wear off and that. Yeah. I did that for 2 years. Imagine that. 2-year holiday.
Right, okay.
Had more money than I knew what to do with.
Right.
Had access to drugs. Had access to booze. Didn't really have to work much. So I was just completely, it was like I was in a different world.
Right, okay.
I isolated myself so much that that I didn't have much to think about. And when I was saying my attention was on all the fuck-ups that I'd made, how much of a liar I was, because I'd break promises then. I'd tell my wife that I'd do one thing and I'd do the fucking opposite. Mm-hmm. I'd make a promise with her, this is the time I'm going to stop. And then I'd break that promise. And every time you break a promise, your self-worth goes down.
Yeah.
You become known as, to my wife, unreliable. Mm-hmm. Unreliable. She didn't trust me. She didn't fucking count on me. She couldn't count on me. And that, I couldn't count on myself. I didn't trust myself. Nobody could count on me. And that's made me feel worthless. Or I made myself. Because that was my decision to feel worthless. Right, so Marbella, I don't look back on that time fondly at all. One of the worst decisions I've made. But ultimately, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now without that. So of course I don't regret it.
I bet you wouldn't change it though. No. Because it's... So then this is
the thing is, I can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many times I talk about it, I can't change the past.
Yeah, well, it's a great, doesn't matter. That's a great answer, by the way.
And that's what you do when you get therapy and counselling and that. What do you talk about?
The past.
Your past.
Yeah.
That you can't change.
Yeah.
I can change the way I look at it though. That's all I've done there.
Yeah.
I've changed the way that I look at it. And actually that's led me to here.
Yeah.
Actually that made me, I met some really cool people there. I can tell that story on stage. I lived in Marbella.
Yeah. So
my daughter was born there. Maybe if I wasn't there, maybe she'd never have been born.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
just the way that the frame, the box, how you know what I think it is? I'm obsessed with this in a minute. I think we talk about pessimism and optimism. Do you know the only difference between pessimism and optimism is how you explain something to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And who's in charge of how I explain something to myself? Me. It's perception. Perception is your imagination. Your imagination decides what things mean.
Yeah.
And I just try and make things mean that I frame it that there is a positive in there. There's a gift in there. There's a hidden gift.
Yeah. Well, there's
an upside.
Well, there's a quote on one of my slides, and I use it all the time. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it
a seed
of an equal or greater benefit.
Yeah. Where did you read that?
That was it's Napoleon Hill. It's,
shit, is it? Do you know I read that? I read it.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I read that. Oh, it is him.
Well,
I seen it in my friend Peter Sage's book.
A guy called Paul Million, who was on the podcast.
Is his name Million?
Yeah, great name, isn't it?
My son's called Maximilian. He loves it.
Fascinating character as well.
Yeah.
He sent me it on text message, and I was literally like, wow.
Yeah.
And I resonate so much with it because my biggest heartache was losing my grandma.
Yeah.
There was a seed in our eulogy that I've turned into, this project that's tackling suicide.
That's what I would think about everything that I've been through. That was what I get from Stoney. Where's the fucking? Because death's probably the hardest thing.
Yeah,
death's probably the hardest thing to frame around. But I've worked with people who've had they've lost kids and they've had family members murdered. So when people come to me and say, because people don't like that quote, people that aren't ready to hear it, like, well, where's the fuck? Because some people are addicted to playing victim. They're addicted to poor me. They're addicted to woe is me because it gets them attention. That was what I was like. I'd play up because it got me attention. It got me what I thought was love. Yeah. It got me sympathy. Some people, they get addicted to that. They don't know any other way to get it.
Yeah.
So not everyone likes that quote because they'll be like, well, what's the positive in this situation? I'm like, well, look harder, man.
Yeah.
You either want to find out or you don't. But that is a superpower, by the way.
Well, I tell you what, you're gonna have to fucking dig deep with it. It's sometimes because if you hit with life, you can either go that way, or you can fucking dig deep and try and get that seed.
It's hard work.
Yeah,
that is hard work. But
it is.
It's training. If you train yourself, I can see the positive of something going wrong before it even happens now. Because I've trained it. I've practiced it on paper. Paper. Reframing the past. What's the upside? What's the gift? What's the potential benefit in this? How can I learn from this? What am I learning? Who am I becoming by going through this?
Yeah.
I've done that so many times that I'm willing to take big risks now. And I think in business, you have to be a risk taker. I'm willing to handle uncertainty. I'm willing to put myself in situations that most people wouldn't. Yeah. Because I know that whatever happens, I'm not going to die.
Well,
I'm not going to die.
Quickly fire that. So that's interesting what you've just said there. So quickly, risk. Tell me your take on risk.
Yeah, I am.
Because it's
in business.
Anyone who's successful is a risk taker, though.
Risk takers. I'm comfortable with uncertainty. And I remember reading from Tony Robbins, which is, he says the success you have in your life, particularly in business, correlates directly to how much uncertainty you can comfortably handle. And I found that quickly, business is one of the biggest uncertainties when you start it, because you don't know when you're going to get paid next.
Yeah.
There's no guaranteed paycheck.
Yeah.
But then I'm now of the opinion that actually in business, there's more certainty, because I'm responsible for my income.
Yeah.
Not the person above me.
Yeah.
Not the sales team. If I'm working for, I've got a lot of friends that work in Nissan, Jiu-Jitsu guys. Shout out to the Nissan boyos. And their job is in the hands of Nissan.
Yeah.
Or a sales team, or the people above them. And I'm like, well, I don't have that, which is also terrifying. So again, the risk, the upside of business is I'm responsible for my income.
Yeah.
The downside is I'm responsible for my income. But I know that whatever happens, the worst thing that's going to happen is I'll have to go and live with my ma. Which is,
hey, that's not too bad. It's not too bad, is it?
It fucking is. She wouldn't have me back. I'd be in a B&B or something. I'll tell you right now. But yeah, I just think that the worst thing is, and especially when you think about the concept that life's short, worst thing that's going to happen is it doesn't work. The worst thing that's going to happen is I have to go and get a job.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to do. But that should be the drive. The worst thing that's going to happen is that should be the drive.
Yeah, you can go again.
And I think, I also believe, Anne, that it's worth looking at the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Because then I can prepare for it.
Yeah,
the biggest problem people have is they don't think there's going to be a bump in the road. They think it's going to be easier. I know when I set goals and that, I'm like, this could go wrong. Am I going to die? No. That is honestly. You can't die of embarrassment.
That's
it's not
exactly the thought process that always goes in my head when I'm about, are you going to die?
No.
Okay, cool.
That's fine. People might laugh at me and think I'm a dick. Not bothered.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fucking die.
Yeah.
I mean, I am dying, but I'm not going to die of that.
Yeah,
So I think that
100%.
risk is huge. I think that, again, we look back on life. Was it really a bigger risk?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's even with money, people are like, how have you spent? So recently we went to Saudi for the boxing. People are like, what are you doing spending that much money? I said, well, actually, here's the mad part. Going to Saudi to watch the best boxing card ever was cheaper than going to the UFC in London this weekend.
No way. Wow.
Tickets for the boxing were 40 quid.
I'm tell you what fight I'm going to the Eubank Ben fight.
Oh, well, I want to go to that.
Excited about
I want
that.
to go to that, but that atmosphere, that environment, I hate it.
Do you?
Especially in football stadium, you're surrounded by pissed up blokes singing football songs.
The only thing
Unless
is
you get close to the front, get the fucking VIPs.
Well, the only thing is for me, I've massively bought into the fight because it's the nostalgia,
And they're amazing at selling it as well. They're doing a brilliant job.
Unbelievable. But I remember watching the dads. So the story, you're talking about storylines.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I'm just like, this fight's got so much.
Chris Eubank doesn't think it's going to happen. I
Yeah,
watched
I know.
him. Did he watch his nephew fighting the other week, Harlem?
Yeah, that was good.
Really good.
Really,
but then
really
Chris at the
impressive.
end was just weird.
You know what?
Weird.
You know what? I think he's lost his son, and I think it's obviously massively affected him.
Yeah.
And I think
I think
he seems a little
his son
bit
might
gone.
die in that fight.
I think he's got a lot. When you go through something like that, I think he's got to have a few passes, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's,
I think that Ant as well. You think the reason I want to get onto this is people see what I spend money on and that, and I'm like, well, listen, I used to spend £1,000 a month on coke.
aye.
This is not that bad.
Yeah, your perception-
Imagine how much money I saved by not drinking enough, getting on the packet. But here's the thing: when I look back in 5 years' time, will I remember the £2,000 that I didn't spend, or will I remember going to that?
Well, it's the memories, though.
I'm all
especially
about
going
memories.
there with your son.
I'm making magic moments. That's what
yeah.
I'm looking for. I'm trying to create magic moments in my life so that when I do die, I'm like, hey, remember the time I went there?
Yeah, I think the best thing to spend your money on is going away with your family,
Experiences.
or going away. Them experiences are just priceless.
Yeah, they're all
You're
priceless,
You're
mate.
talking about money.
And
they're priceless.
I like nice things, but if I've got the option between a nicer car or going to fucking where we're going, we've got the UFC coming up. We did this quarter, man. Went to the Milan Derby, man.
Oh wow!
Or the Milan Derby. I'm going to save that money and buy a nice thing, or would I go to the Milan Derby?
Yeah.
Mate, we've been all over. We've been Real Madrid, fucking hell.
Wow. Well, let me just address the elephant in the room. By the way, where the fuck did you get that jacket from?
Foot Locker. I get asked all the time. Foot Locker.
Mate, it's
Right, it's limited edition.
Oh, mate, it's
It was limited
unbelievable.
edition. I love a limited edition thing.
It's unbelievable.
And it
that
gets so
jacket.
many comments.
Yeah, it's mint.
Yeah.
It's an
Last
absolute-
night at Phoenix, people were like,
It's-
whoa, that
it's just
jacket.
absolute showstopper.
Oh, thank you.
I'm all over that, like all over that.
Yeah, it's loud. But yeah, and it wasn't expensive.
Yeah, aye.
Limited edition. Like me.
It's like I said, we could. It's a long podcast, but we could literally. I've got talk
Keep
so
going.
much.
Keep going. I'm not in a rush.
So we've talked the telly off. We've literally talked the telly off.
That's wild.
But
What do you want to get? Like, what's one question that you could ask that you believe the listeners would get the most from?
yeah, so this is what I'm. So fundamentally, the Never Throw on the Towel project, we do multiple things, but primarily it's trying to tackle suicide and mental health, and we done the podcast of. We thought there could be massive gain simply from storytelling, from people who have
Real life,
real life, and who've had adversity and actually come out the other end. So I would just want to take me to the story which led you to the cliff, and how all this journey, you came across this journey, what you do now, and how you got. Your journey and how you got through it and why you done it and all of that.
Yeah. So the point of my life then was I was rock bottom. I'd felt like, my life looked amazing from the outside, by the way. I've just moved home from Marbella. I've got the car that I always wanted. Got a hot wife, 2 amazing kids. I lived in a 4-bedroom villa with a private pool, right? Unbelievable life.
Wow.
But I was empty. I'd lost my sense of purpose. It was like I got to where I wanted to get to in me. Like when I set all those goals when I was 21, I was living it. I was living the dream, but it didn't feel like what I felt it would feel like. It was like I got to the top of a building, climbed up a ladder, sacrificed my mental health, sacrificed my physical health, almost sacrificed my marriage, sacrificed all of my friendships. I got to the top of the ladder and I was like, this is against the wrong building. and I'd stopped striving. So when you do that, again, like I said before, I was focused on everything that I'd fucked up, all the people that I'd let down, all the promises that I'd broken, all the things I was shit at, all the things that I would say I would do, all the agreements that I'd fucking not stuck to. And I was just focused on that. And I'd disappear for 2 or 3 days at a time. And one day, again, bearing in mind I'd seen every shrink, it just got too much for me. I was like, I can't, and mate, this makes me sad. My wife told me, actually she didn't, she got interviewed for a podcast. And for the preload, the kind of the preface, I don't know what it's called actually, the pre-word, it's like after the book's finished. You know, you have a foreword by someone. Right. After the book's finished, she got interviewed and she was like, and I didn't know this. And she said she almost let me do it. Because she didn't want to see me in so much pain. Darkness, man. Like, it was like I was swimming in the sea with wet clothes on. Heavy. My whole life felt heavy, man. I was either angry or rock bottom. So I was cycling through being fucking angry with the world, angry with me, angry at my kids, angry at my wife, angry at my parents, or rock bottom and blaming myself.
Did you have a big drug issue there?
Huge.
At this point?
Huge drug issue. I'd go on these 3-day benders. And this one day, this is why people said, but why was your wife there? I was like, she'd fucking follow me every time I left the house because she never knew when I was going to come back.
No way, really?
I'd turn my phone off for 3 days at a time. The police would come looking for me. They found me in the sea once.
No way, really?
I can't remember it.
So you were constantly basically having active or passive suicidal thoughts all the time.
When you have these bipolar cycles, you'll go, you'd go from what's called manic depression. So you'd go from being depressed to manic, and when you're manic, you do shit that you can't remember. Like, you do mad shit. Some people go on spending sprees and spend money they haven't got. They'll sleep with a bunch of prostitutes and can't remember it. It's wild. That wasn't me, by the way. I just fucking disappear. And this one day, she had my daughter in the car. I walked to the edge of the cliff. And again, I don't know whether I would have done it, you know. I don't know whether I had the courage. Maybe it was a cry for help.
Yeah.
And she followed me. And this is why I didn't throw in the towel. She followed me and she said to me, she ran in front of me. She's like, Paul, listen, don't do it. I was like, I have to. And again, she said she almost let me. I have to go. And she said to me, think about the kids. And this is how wild it is. Again, look at me life, man. My life's perfect.
So you just had, there was no money issues?
No,
or it was
no money issues, nothing. And I get a bit of shit for that. Well, try having real issues. I'm like, what? Is it like a dick measuring contest?
Yeah.
Like, when you're like that, the money doesn't do it. In fact, the money can make it worse.
Well, I've done it.
Guess what you can do? Buy more drugs.
Well, I do a slide on Gary Speed. On paper, had it all.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that have done that. There's a lot of people that have done that. And it makes me sad that people think that money's matters. I mean, I remember Aaron Lennon, the footballer, came out with an article. All it said was, he's living the dream. He's got this much money.
Yeah.
What's he got to worry about? Well, it doesn't matter. People have it's what you're focused on that's the problem. So she said to me, think of the kids, and when you rock bottom, there's no logic. There's zero logic.
Yeah.
And I said they'd be better off without me. I still can't believe that I said that, man. It's sad, but that's what you believe. That's what people believe. They'd be better off without me. I'm a burden. That's why men won't talk. They already feel like a burden.
Yeah.
And then she said to me, well, think about them growing up as those kids whose dad killed himself. And in that moment, I was like, fucking, nothing went perfect for them, by the way. That was just a fucking big wake up for me. Think about the kids growing up as those dads who killed themselves and gave up on them. And that was the thing that I needed. So I didn't not throw in the towel for me. I didn't throw in the towel for them. Which, fucking hell, man. That's powerful.
Because I
didn't do it for me.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, and I didn't feel like I deserved to live. Right, I didn't feel like I deserved to have the towel. I didn't feel like I deserved to have the option. I legit thought the world would be better off without me, and I actually thought no one would care because I'd isolated myself so much, treated people like shit so often, ignored people so much, turned down attention, turned down affection, turned down love so often that I felt like I didn't deserve to have the towel. Felt like I was unworthy of it. So I couldn't do it for me. I didn't see why I would. Didn't feel like I deserved effort, anything. So, but then I was like, well, they do. They've done nothing wrong. So that became kind of my mission for a little bit. Well, and even now I'm like, I do a lot of things so my kids see it. The other week, my son had a rugby match and I missed it. The reason I didn't go was because I had a jiu-jitsu comp. Remember the one that I said I had all the reasons to pull out? No one in my age division, no one in my weight category, no corner man, didn't know anyone there in fucking Manchester. Fighting kids 15 years younger than me, who are 4.5 kilos heavier than me. That's quite a big deal. And I did it because they knew that I said I'd do it. I've got an example to set. I think as a dad, your biggest thing is, am I an example or am I a fucking warning?
Yeah.
And as that became my mission for a little bit. And I suppose it's still kind of involved. It still is in there. But again, if I look back, I was unreliable. Part of the reason I hated myself was because I was unreliable. Now, I take my word seriously. I normally wear a t-shirt, I haven't got it on today, that says, do what you said you would. That is part of being reliability. If I think about it, reliability is the currency of trust. I didn't trust myself. My wife didn't trust me. My kids wouldn't trust me. Other people didn't trust me. I was isolated because I'd say that I do something, I wouldn't do it. And I was a serial excuse maker. And I came out on the other side because of them. And again, because of money, I was able to invest in mentors, courses, coaches, therapists, retreats, workshops, seminars, all of that. I was able to invest in it. And again, I became of this moniker that action is the only answer. I try stuff and I'm like, that's not for me. Actually, that lights a fire in me. And I'm still doing that now. I still have coaches, mentors. I still try things to find the tools that suit me. Most of the things I do in my life now, I took the piss out of at one point.
Yeah.
Ice baths for people that think they're hard.
Yeah.
Meditation, hippies.
I know.
Journaling, teenage girls. Jiu-jitsu, what? Rolling around the floor with other men with really tight clothes on. Awesome. I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, I get all caught up in that.
Yeah.
A lot of and now I just realised that I didn't understand them.
Yeah.
And I hadn't even tried them.
You just evolve and
you evolve, you fucking grow up, man.
Yeah.
You grow up, you mature.
Yeah.
I make rude jokes and toilet humor jokes, but actually I consider myself emotionally mature. Yeah. I'm not reactive. I don't respond like a big fucking baby every time. That's what men do now. Like babies with beards, a lot of the men that I work with when they first come in.
Yeah.
Reactive. The first time something goes wrong, what do? Get on the booze.
Yeah.
Oh, I got cans in. Why? Because something went wrong. I'm like, mate, fucking grow up, man. Yeah. Even when I work with people now, how come you ended up drinking at the weekend? Well, everyone else was. I'm like, I thought I left that behind a long time ago. When you smoke tabs at school because everyone else smoked tabs.
Aye.
You know what I mean? Then your mum would be like, let me smell your fingers.
Yeah. And what would your message be then if you know someone is struggling? What advice would you give?
2 things, mate. 2 things. Number 1, if you can't do it for you, do it for them. If you haven't got kids, do it for your parents, do it for your partner, do it for your friends, because ultimately they will think it's their fault. My wife, this broke me heart when and I didn't know it until 2018. It broke me heart when she said she thought that I was depressed because this still upsets me, man. She thought that I was rock bottom because she was a shit wife. And it had nothing to do with her.
Aye.
It didn't have anything to do with her. Yeah. So whoever you decide to leave behind will think it's their fault. Parents, friends, they'll think they could have done more. People that don't even know you will feel guilty, and I don't want to pass that on to them, like you said. I don't want to pass that guilt on to them. And again, part of the reason I do what I do now is because I don't want other people's families to go through what I put mine through. So if you can't do it for you, do it for them. And the second thing is, you got to be aware that where you place your attention is where you place your energy. You feel what you're focused on. So you got to start shifting.
That's massive, that.
Yeah, you feel what you're focused on, what you add attention to, you add momentum to. So you got to try and start to shift your focus to the future. And shifting your focus to the future isn't about having a 5-year plan. You can't think that far ahead when you're rock bottom because you can't even see beyond the day.
Yeah.
So shift it to a year, shift it to 90 days, shift it to the month. What do you want to achieve this month? Shift it to the week, shift it to the day, shift it to this in the moment. How do you want to feel? Because when you rock bottom, you only focus on how you don't want to feel. Someone comes to me, I'm like, how do you want to feel? Well, I don't want to feel like this. I didn't ask you that. Your focus becomes so much on how you don't want to feel that you get more of the same.
Yeah.
You get more of it. What you focus on grows. What you put your attention on expands and amplifies. So if you can't explain how you want to feel, start there. Yeah. How do you want to feel? I want to feel excited. Cool.
Yeah.
Tell me something that makes you feel excited. I've said it to you before. You start to focus on that. You feel excited. Tell me something you're passionate about. Tell me about your football team.
Yeah. And it's
focus on how you want it to feel.
Yeah.
And you'll start to fucking feel it. You'll train yourself to feel excited. Yeah. You'll train yourself to feel passion. You'll train yourself to do that by what you focus on.
Yeah.
There's nothing the training won't fix.
Yeah.
You focus on growing your biceps, what happens?
Yeah.
You grow your fucking biceps.
Yeah.
And does it sometimes hurt? It has to.
Yeah.
It has to hurt sometimes. So that whole process is meant to feel uncomfortable. It's meant to hurt.
Yeah.
You don't grow muscles by lifting weights that you know you can lift, the light ones. You grow muscles by getting under the fucking heavy bar. You don't get better at fighting by fighting people you're better than all the time.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
You become better at fighting by fighting people that fuck you up.
Yeah.
You become better at jiu-jitsu by rolling with the next belt up.
Yeah.
Not with the belt down.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
So actually, you got to understand that journey is meant to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, totally.
You're under the bar, you feel the burn. You won't grow muscle without pain.
Yeah. And you know what? I was sparring, and honestly, you question yourself though, but I was getting, sometimes when I was sparring, I was thinking, fucking hell, like this.
Mate, I sometimes get folded up with by 14-year-olds.
Yeah. But then when I fought this lad, I was like, wow, this is so easy. Nothing against you, by the way, pal. But it was just in terms of comparison.
You trained with people at a higher level.
Who I was up against.
That's how you get better at anything, man. I hang out with business owners that are way further ahead than me. It makes me want to raise my standards.
Yeah.
It inspires me. When I hang around these comedians that are better than me, fucking hell, I get inspired as fuck.
Yeah, totally. Well,
and I'm like, I need to get better now.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, I can also ask them.
Yeah, well, no, I was so...
It's a cheat code, that. Getting around people that are better than you is a cheat code.
Honestly, I'll be honest, one of the things that I was really wanting to kind of be around you in terms of, you're doing loads of stuff that I want to do, or I want to be.
Do you know part of the reason that? This is it. This is what we got to understand. The only reason I'm doing that is because I started before you.
Yeah.
That's what we've got to look at. I remember we were talking about John Kavanagh before. I did a seminar with him in 2016 or something. When I was playing at jiu-jitsu then. And he said, the only difference between a black belt and a white belt is that the black belt started sooner and didn't keep quitting.
Yeah.
Didn't keep stopping.
Yeah.
So a black belt is just a white belt that didn't quit.
Yeah.
So when I look at people that are further ahead than me, 9 times out of 10, they started before me.
Yeah.
So if that's not the evidence that you need to start now, then what is?
Yeah.
Anybody that's further ahead, often the only difference, they started before you.
Yeah.
They didn't let fear of what people would think get in their way.
Yeah.
They just fucking started and kept going.
Yeah. You know what?
They didn't get lucky.
What a way to wrap up.
Yeah,
we're going to wrap it up. Well, one more thing. I'm going to give you this little gift.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Throw on the towel.
Thank you. That is beautiful. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I've got a jiu-jitsu competition in Newcastle next Sunday, and I'm going to use this.
Mint.
Yeah.
Quality.
Just to wipe up me sick, not to wipe me sweat. I'll be puking or I'll shit myself or something.
No, but thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anne. Thank you so much, mate. Thank you.